Welcome to Just a Bunch of Nerds, a podcast dedicated to everything nerd, covering movies, anime, comics, gaming, and more. Warning, this show may contain spoilers and mild language. Listener discretion is advised. In time, you will know what it's like to lose.
What's he doing?
To feel so desperately that you were right.
Did you rehearse this?
Yet to fail
I didn't.
all the same.
Neptune, what the fuck are you doing?
Dread it. Run from it.
Okay, we're not understanding
Destiny
why you
still arrives.
Wait, how are you doing that with your voice?
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe.
Put the glove down.
But this
What are you doing? What?
does put a smile on my face.
Ow! What the fuck, Neptune? Why'd you punch me?
Dude, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Are you sure? That was a pretty hard punch.
I'm fine. Just roll the damn intro.
Destiny has arrived.
Shut the fuck up, Neptune. Roll the damn intro.
Hey everyone, I'm Goji. My arms hurt, and we are just a bunch of nerds. I'm sitting here with my friend Neptune.
What's up?
And Corvus.
Hola.
And guys, we finally saw Infinity War.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We're actually going to be talking about Infinity War. We're going to do non-spoilers first. It won't take that long, but then we're going to get heavy into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back and listen.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers are coming.
Yeah. Spoilers. Hardcore spoilers.
I don't know how
Spoilers.
the kids who haven't seen Infinity War have dodged these spoilers because they're literally everywhere.
It's made $800 million or something already, and it's only been out
Nice.
for a week. Like it within its first weekend, it already became the highest grossing film of all time. Like,
Oh,
it's crazy. Before we get into Infinity War, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded the podcast. So, Neptune, what have you been up to in the last 2 weeks?
I mean, honestly, like my finals for a few college classes are over. Well, I mean, they're about to be over in like a few days, and that's all I've been doing. Yeah, dog. The only like nerd-related thing I've been doing is just watching My Hero Academia and keeping caught up with that. All the seasonal stuff that I normally watch, I actually have been slacking super hard because of finals. So that's not fun.
What have I been doing? I mean, I've also been staying current with My Hero Academia season, which is rare for me because usually, like, you know, I wait until the whole season come out and binge it, but I wanted to keep up with it currently. Also watching that new SAO, GGO, I don't remember what it's actually called.
It's a Gun Gale Online. It's like a remake of. Is it like
It's not a remake. It's like
no, it's not a remake. Yeah.
It's a story about a different set of characters in Gun Gale Online. It's actually a lot better than I was expecting, but I've been watching that and playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive and playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and you know, I've been playing a little bit of Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
I see the meme. Good
Yeah.
work.
Hey, Corvus, you stream, right? What's your What's your Twitch?
Twitch.tv/CorvusCarax.
And that's CARAX, right?
Yes, CORVUSCARAX.
There you go. Go ahead and check out his Twitch.
Bada boom.
I've gone to the movies a lot lately. Longer than the last 2 weeks. I saw Pacific Rim Uprising. That was okay. I'm a really big fan of the original. What?
Again?
I saw it twice.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big kaiju fan, as I said last time, and Pacific Rim is probably one of my all-time favorite movies. The sequel was okay. It's fun and goofy and stuff like that, but it doesn't hit anywhere near what the original hit. What else did I see? I saw Rampage. Rampage was really good.
That one.
Yeah, you guys need to go check out Rampage. It was honestly, up until Infinity War, which we'll get to in a little bit, Rampage was my favorite movie of the year at that point. Ready Player One was also really good.
I finally saw that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah?
It was nut.
We-
nerdy nut.
I need to see that Gundam. I'm literally gonna watch it just so I can see the RX.
Yeah, it is literally Nerd the movie. There's some little things in it that I didn't quite make sense, like that there were so many different ways to control this one game. Like, the guy had a big chair, people were walking in the street playing.
Yeah.
There was like he was in the van with like the strings attached to it. It was like And
also, when are we gonna get one of those omnidirectional treadmills so that I can
they
play VR?
they made one.
I want one.
they made one. I've watched it on YouTube. Like it like goes like up and down, left and right, and diagonal.
Yeah.
And there's like a ring that you can like hold on to like keep your balance and shit. And then like you can die at any point in this game. Like even if you're just hanging out in like one area that you normally wouldn't be able to die in.
You can die in a dance club.
Yeah, like they're in a dance club. Like that
Oh,
that doesn't
nice.
make any sense at all.
They should definitely have
So,
non-PvP.
but anyway, to get away from that, I've also been playing a lot of. I haven't played Monster Hunter lately. None of us have played Monster Hunter lately.
Dude, there's like this giant new Elder Dragon that
Yeah,
I was
haven't
really
even
into,
touched
and then
my PlayStation in like a month.
We need to do another all night Monster Hunter night.
Yeah,
those are awesome.
lit.
I actually to prepare for Infinity War, I've been really into the idea of playing Marvel games, and I own none for the PS4 except for Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Nice.
So I started the new game on that, and I played the entire game. And I mean, if it didn't have the Lego look to it, it would be the best Marvel game ever. Like, the Lego games are fun. And then I've also been playing Marvel Future Fight and the new Marvel Strike Force on my tablet. So those are pretty cool. Let's take a quick break.
shit.
We'll take a
Right.
quick break, and then when we get back, we'll get into the non-spoiler opinions and everything like that. Go watch the movie, and then come back and listen to the rest of the review.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back, guys.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
All right, we're back. Let's get into some non-spoiler talk about Infinity War. Just give our overall opinions of the movie and stuff like that. We'll start with Neptune here.
I think, like, for, like, okay, so I'm not, like, a huge, like, Marvel comic book guy, but, like, for like, a dumb comic book movie, it was, like, objectively way better than I thought it was gonna be, like, in just a plain movie sense. Because, like, they really went above and beyond with, like, little details, fleshing out their main villain. Like, this was not an Avengers story. This was a Thanos story. And they did a good job making Thanos, like, one of my favorite, like, villains of all time. It got to the point near the end, I was, like, rooting for Thanos. Versus, like, his dumb comic book counterpart, where, like, the whole thing for the first, like, Infinity War ever, it was, like, literally he took out half the universe for, like, a good nut with death. And it was, like, that's, like, just... in my opinion, like, as a villain, that's just, like, beyond stupid. But, like, it's still pretty awesome. But, like, just, like, what the people at Marvel have done, like, they're willing to change a whole lot to make their movies objectively good, and I like that. And I think they're very brave, especially with all the super comic book nerds who usually freak out when you change, you know, tiny details or you don't do it exactly like how it was told in the story. I think they're doing a good job adapting it, but also changing it to make it better and, you know, more modern and objectively good. That's basically it. All right, Corvus, you're up.
I mean, all right. So going off what you said, I totally agree. I think it's great. I mean, like Thanos. I was expecting like the comic book version where he's just wiping out half the universe because Death is like, "Can you do this?" Yeah, awesome. I'm just a violent dick. But like the movie one, it's so great because like you almost understand his reasoning, and you're like, is he that evil? Like, sure, he's doing something that in a way sucks, but like it's almost for like you feel for him, you know. And that's not what I was expecting when I went in, and I loved it. But also something else that was just great. Like every Marvel movie I've seen, I come out and I'm like super hyped, talking nonstop for like hours on end. And honestly, I got out of this movie and I was just silent. I needed time to process.
God.
Like seriously, like for a couple hours, like I was on a road trip out to another state, so like I was driving and I'm like just sitting in the car silent because I was like I don't know how do I process human emotions? What are these?
Yeah, for real.
Overload error.
When we got out of the theater, I didn't talk to Brittany for almost a half hour after we got home.
Yeah, like we went out for pizza after, and I don't think I said a word other than like, sure, that sounds good. When they asked me what flavor or topping, whatever it was, Like, oh.
So, what were your guys' opinion on the movie as a whole? Not just like the whole Thanos aspect of it, like just as a single movie. Like if you never saw a Marvel movie before this, like
Oh, then I didn't have no idea what's going on. But I mean, if we're gonna go with that, like, and I wasn't. Well, I mean, I'm okay. I guess I am kind of a big Marvel fan, but like this movie, like in this whole franchise they've been building up, is just like it's just like so good in ways that I didn't think it'd be good. Like I normally, I watch these cool Marvel movies only literally for like cool fights and just to like see superheroes that I grew up with as like a kid for like nostalgia. But like this movie is like I don't normally feel for characters in dumb comic book movies, but for this one it made me actively think about. I'm gonna go back on Thanos because Thanos is the biggest thing of this movie. Thanos.
I'm gonna go back on Thanos.
I'm sorry because they nailed Thanos. And, they've been building up all these characters for multiple movies, and then, so now they just have a Thanos movie that they just added in, and it's perfect, and it's brilliant. And, like, as a whole, this movie had a lot of good points that I normally don't find in most Marvel movies. This movie is, like, one of my favorite movies of all time. I knew I was going to enjoy Infinity War, because, I know it's just going to be, crazy fights, Doctor Strange is in it. He has, like, my favorite visuals. Captain America and Black Panther, they have like all that fight choreography and martial arts. I love all that. Who else is there? There are a few other people that have
everyone.
Yeah, literally everyone has something that they bring to the table.
Two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. In this movie, there is death, and they also do that very well in a certain aspect that has gotten a lot of internet popularity. There are many memes of this certain one, and I don't know how, if anyone is listening to this, and how you, like, if you haven't seen Infinity War, I haven't had this aspect spoiled just off of memes alone, but it, like, just the popularity shows how well they executed all these, big time fatalities, if you will. And now I'm gonna hand it off to Corvus. I think that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely get you with the emotions, for sure. I think you were mentioning a thing about, like, just the general movie, even without being, like, a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah, like, if it's a young kid, young kids are going to go see this movie. If they didn't get to grow up watching the last 10 years of Marvel movies, what do you, like, how would you...
Like, honestly, like, I think as just an independent movie, without it being, like, the grand finale of this huge franchise, I think it's an amazing movie. You could follow it, they let you in on everything still, but there's also so many, like, little details and, like, parts that you can gather from previous movies that those of you who have watched them get to enjoy it on a whole nother level. But, like, if you're just a newbie to the Marvel franchise, it is still gonna blow your mind how amazing it is. Honestly, I think it might be one of the best Marvel movies yet. Like, Thor Ragnarok is one of my favorites, but that's because of how funny it is.
Dude, don't even get me started on Thor Ragnarok right now.
Infinity Wars is, like, my favorite because it's just that epic. And, like, I had this big fear going into it that, like, we've been building this for 10 years. And I was like, man, there's so much hype, and, like, I just don't want to be let down. And I wasn't, which happens so rarely. Usually there's at least some part of it that lets me down. I was thrilled from beginning to end. And this is one of those movies that it does not stop moving.
Oh, no.
Like, there is no downtime. Which is why you have to take time to just be silent and process afterward, because it's one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, after another,
This
after
is literally cocaine, the movie.
Yeah, they open up with some pretty heavy scenes. Literally, like the first 5 minutes,
I mean,
children were freaking out.
They started,
This is
like,
isn't this?
I mean, they basically started up, like, I'd say, what, like, 10, 15 minutes after Thor Ragnarok ends?
Oh yeah, like
it's
funny
almost
how,
right after.
Like, it would drive me nuts to work for Marvel with how they're setting up, like, each movie release. Like, Thor Ragnarok came out, then Black Panther came out, then Infinity War came out, but Infinity War starts off right after Thor Ragnarok came out. So Black Panther starts right after Civil War that came out, after Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, it's a
Someone
mess.
just look at the timeline and his eyes are like starting to cross slowly and he's just like spinning.
I showed you a picture of the timeline.
Oh yeah, it's oh my god, they've been putting in work at Marvel, not gonna lie.
And there are some inconsistencies. Like, even Infinity War actually got a couple of dates wrong. which I'll bring up later. As for me, like, this is easily my favorite Marvel movie. And that's saying something because I'm a huge Spider-Man nut, so most people would think that Spider-Man Homecoming was my favorite. And I like it a lot, but Thor Ragnarok beat Spider-Man Homecoming by a pretty big margin, and this beat Thor Ragnarok probably by just a little bit, but just having all these characters interacting and stuff like that's like the big seller for me here. I thought it was great. Like, what do you guys think of the actors? Like, who was your favorite character in the movie without spoiling anything?
Okay, I think I kind of went over this last time, but I really love Benedict Cumberbatch on the Doctor Strange, and I really like, but like the synergy between characters. Okay, here's something that they do really well in this movie is that they bring in this giant cast, and the synergy between them doesn't feel weird or awkward. Like, they kind of just roll up and they still have their same styles and like tone.
Everything feels natural.
There's like even in the trailer you see that like Iron Man is trying to like be serious about this giant purple dude with a sick new glove about to like kick their shit in, and then the Star-Lord is literally just like not caring, going, no, let me do the plan because mine will clearly be better, even though Tony Stark is like a genius and Star-Lord is just some dude from Ohio or something, I don't even know. And then in that same scene, minor spoiler, Drax is literally yawning in the background, but you just don't see him, and it's hilarious.
That's not no, as long as it doesn't spoil the story. Like, that's
yeah,
fine.
no,
Like,
there's literally so many like another thing that they execute well is mainly like comedy in this. Because there are some times in Marvel movies where they'll kind of bring in the comedy during like maybe, I mean, they did it here, but for some reason like I didn't like really care that much when there was like a heavy moment, and then maybe like a few minutes later there'd be like, you know, a funny moment, and I would still laugh, and I wouldn't really be like, wow, that really took away from the scene from earlier. I don't know, the execution with that.
No, that
I
really played the
I was
comedy
totally okay with it, and also it was like genuinely like funny at points. I mean, I guess it's like kind of weird to say genuinely funny when comedy is, you know, totally subjective, but like, I don't know. Everyone thought it was funny. Everyone was laughing in the theater.
I asked you who your favorite character in the movie was, and somehow you just started with Benedict Cumberbatch, and then you like went on this whole tangent about comedy.
Okay, yeah. See, I guess sidetracked. What I was saying. You were talking to me about actors. All I was saying is that I really liked Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are like with each other for a bit of the movie. I'm not going to talk about how long, and I really like their synergy, because I really like Tony Stark, and I really like Benedict Cumberbatch on the Doctor Strange, and like the sass levels of these two, they might as well have been just like two black women going off on each other. It was hilarious.
When they first meet, and
they're just having like a penis measuring contest.
It's not a story spoiler at all, but when Tony's like leaning on the cauldron, and
it's like the cauldron of the cosmos, and he's like stretching,
he smacks him with his cloak.
No, it's funny because the cloak is like, you know, totally like sentient, so the cloak did it, and knowing Doctor Strange.
I just thought Tony's just like, I'm gonna allow that. Like he could do anything about it.
Yeah, no, I really like that, and I really like how there's really not an actor that I go, wow, that performance was kind of meh for them, because like, I don't know, they're all talented and they're all good, even for characters that I don't really like. They play their character well, and I'm like, I mean, I don't like you, but your real life person is talented, so I'll allow it, and people like you. So that has to mean something, and I'm not going to take away from that, or I'm going to try not to. So, you know, you go. I'm really not going to go into that.
All right. So I had a comment about your whole comedy thing, because there's a moment during, I mean, they tease the whole big fight in Wakanda in the trailers, and there's this moment where Thor is like, hey guys, meet my new friend, Tree. And it's just like,
is this a rabbit? Or whatever. The rabbit is correct. It's like, what?
It's funny how like sometimes like Star-Lord's always making fun of Rocket and being like, you're a trash panda, and Thor, and like that's the comedy between them, and then Thor gets introduced to them, and he has like the same kind of comedy but his way, by calling him Rabbit. Yeah, like everyone is just making fun of Rocket. It's great.
I am Groot.
True.
I am Steve Rogers.
Yeah, see, they keep the style of all these characters, but then they also like mesh them together so that they're still funny and emotional. Yeah. And they nail the execution of this giant cast of characters, but having them all keep their styles and all keep none of them change for each other. None of them have to adapt. They kind of just mesh perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
the
like, you
melting
can't-
pot of movies. It's
I
America.
can't imagine writing it any better. But anyway,
Who was your favorite?
actors, character-wise, like, one, Thanos, amazing. We've said that like a bunch of times.
Yeah, we
but,
can't even
like,
include Thanos in this list because he's just gonna top
but,
it.
yeah, like, he was written so well. Make fun of his bald purple head and his derpy little chin
I'm Rick
as
Harrison,
much
and this
as
is
you
my
want.
pawn shop.
But he was written so well. But when it comes to acting, I gotta give it up for my boy Tom Holland. Like, Spider-Man,
Oh yeah.
like,
he
his
was-
witty remarks are great. Him and Star-Lord go off
Oh
a little
my
bit
God.
about, I think it's Footloose or something.
Yes,
Like,
it's
they have a
Footloose.
couple comments like that with pop culture and, like, old pop culture. It's great.
Yeah, this Spider-Man's really pop culture heavy. Like he's really into pop
Yeah, which
culture.
is
Like
great.
he's referenced like an old movie in every single.
Is Footloose still the greatest movie ever? It
Never
was.
Have you ever seen Aliens? Like how they use like that movie to.
Is
I
Kevin
can't even
Bacon-
say that.
Is Kevin Bacon
thanks for
in
stopping
the-
me.
In just a minute.
Is Kevin Bacon in the Avengers? Maybe.
Maybe.
I haven't been there in a while. I don't know. But yeah, like he just has a couple moments that make you laugh, and then he has a couple moments that really, I think he really shines as an actor. Not just his character, but just as an actor, he does it so well.
And
And
like
it
like
gets you,
the
man.
scene that we're gonna be talking about later, like it was totally improv by him.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that
Oh, that makes it.
He
That
did-
makes me
he did-
appreciate him
yeah,
even more.
like that all
was-
improv. Like
Oh, like I
told
have,
Neptune
I
here
have
about it.
such a like. I was like, he's some actor that I haven't really heard about, but he's doing a pretty good job as Spider-Man. And now I'm like, I love you. Great, amazing.
the Iron Spider suit.
Oh, what are those? Spider legs.
Oh my god. Yeah. A lot of characters had some sick upgrades that, well, mainly for whoever Tony Stark operated on, which was him and Spider-Man. They had really cool add-ons to like that I didn't think I'd see. Like spider legs on Spider-Man.
That comes right out of the comics.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
In
That's happened
the
before.
Civil War comic, when Spider-Man joined Iron Man's side, Tony Stark actually made him the Iron Spider costume, which is all red, but it has a big gold spider on the chest and gold eyes, and it has 3 legs that come out, not 4.
Yeah. Okay, well, for me, someone who hasn't read the comics, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And that looks sick. And also, I really enjoyed the Iron Man nano machine son because I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that was really cool.
Because like the way
That's-
he used it to make whatever he needed for certain situations,
Yeah.
especially for a certain fight that I really want to talk about, but I can't.
I also
during,
like
like-
how I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, but like it wasn't an infinite amount of nano. Like
Yeah.
Oh
It-
yeah, like if
he
he
would
if
create
extended this,
another
like his
weapon,
leg would
like taking part of
That's
the armor.
literally
off.
what I want to talk
Like,
about.
it's
That like
so great.
yeah. Well,
he was
it's-
tactical with
it's
it. It
done
was
the way
also
his
well.
suit works isn't really a spoiler. It's just because it doesn't have any effect on the actual story, really.
It doesn't ruin any plot holes.
Yeah, no.
Or plots.
I'm just trying not to get too deep in it because I feel like if I just
Yeah.
go
Well,
off.
we're gonna move on in just.
I was gonna
a
say,
minute
I think we need to move on because
Well, my favorite character, real quick.
Right.
Let me have a turn.
no.
Was
How
well,
dare-
not my favorite character, but you already mentioned Spider-Man, and you already mentioned Doctor Strange, who also I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan, but he was really good in the movie.
Oh my god, his fights were just
Drax.
Yo! Yeah, never
like my.
I can stand so perfectly still that no one can see me. I am positive I'm invisible.
Hi, Drax.
Damn it.
Dude.
I can't believe there were people. How long were you standing there?
An
hour.
Yeah, no.
Here for this whole thing.
Yeah, no, for real, out of all the characters, I really did not think Dave Bautista would deliver the comedy as well as he did. But Drax, and like for every movie, I love Drax more. Not as like, I don't know, he's like just like the best comedy relief because they write him as like, he doesn't understand anything. He doesn't understand sarcasm. I just love thinking of the idea of this, this planet of buffoons like Drax all going
Oh my
around.
god, I can't even imagine a whole
Well,
planet of him.
Do you know
Star-Lord
Drax in the
around him?
comics?
No.
Drax in the comics was actually a human. And
Really?
yeah, he was killed, and he was actually like his soul or sentience was put into a new body, which was this
Oh.
one that you see in the movies now. He wasn't really an alien.
I don't think that's what they did for the cinematic universe, though.
Yeah, it makes more sense this way. Like you don't have to have a whole convoluted plot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of triggered about that because I was literally looking at like some mean tweets of Infinity War There are people who are trying to hate on Batista. I'm like, are you kidding me? He literally...
I have seen
Come
some
on.
people complain that they're making him a big comic relief type character, but he was always comic relief. Like even in the first Guardians movie,
He's
like
been
with
the
the whole
universe.
nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are
Too
fast.
quick.
I would catch it. Like how can you complain that he's a comic relief character when that was in the first movie? Like
I don't know. He's just perfect for the role of comedy relief, and I
He
really
is.
don't mind out of this giant cast of like how many like just good guys are there? There's like
they said
30?
60. They
60?
said 60, but I think that they're including this one and the next one together. Because there wasn't 60 characters in this. Like, I mean, the extras and all that kind of stuff, like, maybe they hit 60, but there was no way that there were 60 characters in this movie.
yeah, like I think that just having Drax not be a super compelling character is really not even like a flaw at all, because it's like you have so many other people that need development to make the movie genuinely good, like Thanos, which they do, and that's way better than focusing on my man Dave Bautista, because you can just have him, lighten the mood whenever you watch certain scenes happen that I can't talk about yet.
Well, okay, well, that's a good transition. Let's actually put the actual spoiler tag on now. If you are still listening and you have not seen Infinity War, push pause now. Do not continue listening, because we are literally going beat for beat through the movie, talking about all the spoilers, people that die, people that live, how the movie ends. Don't listen from this point on if you have not seen the movie. If you listen to this and then comment that we spoiled the movie for you,
You're an idiot.
Do you think we should still just edit in a disclaimer for all the people who are going to be like, oh, we're not going to get into it immediately?
I will get an alarm sound effect and be playing it through this entire spoiler tag.
Just make it as annoying as possible.
Yeah, it will be the most annoying sound.
Oh yeah, dog. Do that.
So, Infinity War kicks off right after Thor Ragnarok. In the end of Thor Ragnarok, he rescued the rest of the Asgardians and put them on a ship on their way back to Earth, including Thor, Loki, the Hulk,
the Valkyrie.
Valkyrie,
Was it
Korg,
the blue rock
Meek.
guy from Ragnarok?
Meek,
Oh yeah.
and then all of the leftover Asgardians. Heimdall,
Like,
they're
See
dead.
you later, man.
like
See you later.
you start off, they're all dead except Heimdall, Loki, and Thor. Everyone else
And
is
the Hulk.
and Hulk, and the rest of them are laying on the ground dead.
Yeah, the first scene of a person is literally that one priest dude stepping over the corpse of the Asgardians. It drops you right in.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Which is great. Thor's already getting his ass handed to him.
And it's crazy. Like, it literally picks up shot for shot right after Thor Ragnarok. Like, you see during the end credits scene, the ship rise in front of them, and then once Infinity War starts, it's that ship taking over this ship.
With like a mayday, or like, I think, yeah, like the...
Oh yeah, there's
Mayday
not even
call
music
being
starting
sent
the movie. It's the Mayday coming
from
from the
Asgard's
Asgardian ship.
to Thanos' ship. It's like, we are not like an attack vessel. We are just passengers. We are like... And it's like, oh man, they're being under attack. Oh my god, they're under attack. And then they go in like, oh no, they're already dead.
yeah.
So Thor, or Thanos, is on this ship looking for the Tesseract, which we've seen since Captain America, the First Avenger.
It was heavily hinted that Loki took it.
Yeah.
Which it was revealed he did.
Yeah.
Of
I mean,
course.
He had it on him.
Thor's just
brother
like, the Tesseract got destroyed on Asgard with Ragnarok, and Loki's like, but did it though?
Yeah, but technically... Really, Loki, you are the worst brother ever.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Loki, can we appreciate the throwback to the first Avengers?
We
When-
have a Hulk.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have an army. We have a Hulk up against Thor. Or Thanos.
Hulk
We have a
versus
Hulk.
Thanos, and it literally, he gets one punch in on the Hulk, and the Hulk like whimpers at the pain to his jaw. Like, I honestly felt so bad for the Hulk at that shot. He literally grabs his face like, oh my god, that hurt.
Hulk actually got like curb stomped.
Yeah,
I
I thought Hulk was dead. Like when he got down, he wasn't moving at first. I thought that was the end of the Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't like. everyone else is dead, and like that's all going on, and he's getting his ass handed to him. I'm like, wow, okay, I was not expecting Hulk to die, especially not right away. And then my boy Heimdall,
Rainbow.
oh
powers.
fathers, give me power one
Now-
more time.
That's an interesting part to me because I thought he needed the sword
He
and
has a sword.
well, no, I know that. I meant I thought he needed the sword and the gate
You mean like that
to
room?
transport people.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he can do it.
Then what's the point of the room and putting the sword in the thing?
I think it's one of those things where like he can kind of do it like once in a while, and it's kind of weak.
But the room helps.
But like that room is like channeling it and makes it a million times easier.
Yeah, just like how that one dude could randomly do it that Loki put in place when he was...
Yeah, I didn't
Jesse
think it was
episode.
just Heimdall. I thought that was just Heimdall's job. Like I thought that the sword and the gateway is what opened up
Yeah.
the rainbow
And
teleportation. And then
then he dies.
yep, right
away.
after
Like,
first
oh.
death of the movie, after he transports Hulk back to Earth.
That was a
Heimdall
mistake.
dies.
I believe it was.
That was a
I think it
mistake.
was actually Corvus that stabs him.
No, Thanos stabs him.
Was it Thanos?
Thanos straight up just goes, that was a mistake, and puts the spear right in his chest, and Heimdall's like,
Oh, okay.
So
I was like, I
yeah.
remember the spear, and just like one quick moment. So I found out that this one guy in the Black Order, his name is Corvus Glaive, and he's literally using a glaive.
Oh, yeah.
So his last name is named after the weapon he uses.
I
And I'm
mean,
just like, okay,
when
alright.
Thanos adopts you,
Creative
names,
names, dogs.
whatever.
Creative names.
Good work. Yeah, so that whole...
After Thor's like, you'll die for doing that.
Epic foreshadowing.
His
But not really.
So Thanos, lets them know that this is what's happening. I'm going to be taking half of the people out and stuff like that. And we're going to go to Earth to get the other 2 Infinity Stones. Loki, I've been to Earth. You need a guide. I vow my loyalty to
Totally
you.
called that. Trying to, like, get on his good side.
I
Yeah.
vow
Be
my
like-
loyalty to you. Gives him the Tesseract, puts it in his glove.
Like, dude, let's be bros.
Thor notices something, though.
Oh, you mean the...
While Loki is vowing his loyalty to Thanos, he sees Loki pull a dagger.
But you know what triggered it, though? Loki having that moment of being like, I am Loki, Odin's son. He's
Yeah.
like, I am, like, part of this family. And at that moment, you know, oh, no.
Yeah,
oh,
you-
no. This
Where-
is it.
I think where Loki failed there, though,
He didn't wait. He
What?
literally went right in.
he went right in with the dagger to his neck, and Thanos caught it.
With the
Do you
Space
think?
Stone.
Do you think he would have caught it if Loki wouldn't have mentioned that he was the god of mischief?
I think...
No. Thanos already has used Loki as a puppet. He already knows how he works.
Yeah, I think Thanos
And,
would have
like, he
treaded lightly around Loki.
Literally, all he did was activate the Space Stone and stop his hand. Like,
Yeah.
he would have done it easily. Loki didn't time that well, and I think it was just because he realized, like, look, he's not actually going to fall for this. So, like, I just have to try and get him off it. But man, that's one of those, the way they take Loki out at the beginning, just the chokehold for, like, a solid minute, and just, like, oh.
You
it
hear
kinda-
the snap.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing was, he gets choked up for a while. I thought, like, at some point, I'm like, okay, are you gonna snap his neck now? Or are you gonna do that
Yeah.
dramatic
And
X-snap?
he does it
And then-
one-handed.
Yeah, he literally just holds him for... He basically just ran out of oxygen, and then when
He-
he's done, he's like, see you later, man. And he
he's
just
like-
drops him in front of Thor.
Holds him, gets to that point, does his little monologue. Loki's literally turning blue,
Yeah.
and he's just like,
Again.
Yeah, like, it was pretty brutal, actually.
yeah.
So, Loki, is he really dead?
Oh, hell
Oh, I think he's done so.
He has to be.
yeah. Yeah, he's
he
done. So.
has to be dead.
There's no...
If they bring there's a whole list of people, and we'll get to them. But if Loki is really dead, I mean, if he's not dead, if he comes back, they missed a huge opportunity. Like, they can't keep bringing Loki back.
If they
I
bring,
have very
if
mixed
they bring back
feelings
any of
about
the
him coming
Asgardians,
back.
like...
Mostly negative, honestly.
If they bring him back, that is a big mistake.
No, there is something I was confused about. Now, maybe I heard it wrong, but I'm pretty sure they kept talking about, like, saying Thanos wiped out half of them. Like, there was another ship. Like,
Yeah,
I thought
no,
they
Thor did
referenced on
say
the
something
ship, and
about,
I was like, I didn't think there was a second. I thought they were all in one.
I've seen some people think that some people might have gotten away on an escape pod,
Oh, maybe.
but I don't know. Like,
And I mean, I know that
I
there's people
think-
like Lady Sif. She vanished like a couple movies ago, and it's just never popped back up. So I guess not all the Asgardians are dead, but like all the ones that we know about are
No.
dead.
I don't. I mean, maybe there's other Asgardians in other parts of the universe that have left Asgard, like, on their own.
Yeah,
Like
Peter
Valkyrie.
Dinklage.
Well, he's not Asgardian.
What is he?
Who?
He's like a different alien being.
Oh, whatever. That freaking
Peter Dinklage, the dwarf that's
the
like...
giant dwarf.
He's a dwarf.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
But he's like...
He's
not
literally a dwarf.
Like,
They literally call him a dwarf.
So, I mean, I could see them getting away on a skate pod, but that... I mean, unless they showed that, that's kind of like a cop-out. I think they're all dead, and I think it might have been...
But see, that also isn't the Thanos way.
Yeah,
like,
that's
he
like the one
is
thing that
I'm gonna wipe out half. That's
But
it.
when...
Do you think he let half leave?
Later, when we see them, like, the Guardians find Thor later. When the Guardians find Thor, the ship's blown up, and there are bodies floating everywhere.
Right, but that's... I don't know.
That could
Like,
be the main
it sounded
ship.
like they were talking about there was a second ship, and I was just, like, real confused about
I
that.
know that Thor definitely, after watching this movie 3 times, when he was talking to Rocket Raccoon, and Rocket Raccoon was like, "Are you up for this? You've been going through a lot," and Thor's like, "Oh yeah, the anger really gets to me. Half my people were just wiped out," and he definitely said half.
Yeah.
I don't know if Thanos literally let like people leave. He's like, "All right, half of you go, and I'm gonna."
Like, get on my ship, I'll take you somewhere or something?
Or
And
maybe
that's-
he just let them get in their escape pods. He's like, "Hey, women and not even women and children, half of you leave."
And I
Thor,
think that's
1v1 me right now.
one of those really big points about Thanos is he's just like killing everyone, but like he has his like
His own rules.
He has a
That he
reason
stays
why
and,
he's
and,
doing
and like
things.
he's
And it's
almost
not-
merciful with
It's
it.
not even a bad reason.
No,
As
no,
bad
he's
as
like,
it sounds.
look, my home planet got overpopulated. We used all our resources, and then
And we
all
all
died
died.
out. So I'm just wiping out half of humanity, so that doesn't happen everywhere else.
Yeah,
Out of everyone,
he
isn't
even mentions that he even brought the idea of wiping everybody out on the planet to his planet. And
And
they all
making
called
it-
him crazy
and making
refused
it
to do
completely random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way
And they
there's
all
no
called him
bias.
crazy,
Yeah.
and his planet died.
Yeah.
Like,
And
afterwards, though.
He's
so,
kind of merciful because he wants the Infinity Gauntlet and the stones so that he can just snap and wipe it out. Done. Instead of having
he's
to go
on a
around brutally
crusade.
murdering everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's on a
exactly.
crusade of wiping half of every planet out, and he doesn't want to have to keep traveling from planet to planet to do it, so he wants to do the Infinity Gauntlet because he knows that he can literally do it all in one snap of his finger. Thanos is just lazy.
What do you mean?
No, I think it's
He doesn't want to
I
have to
think it's
travel
a-
everywhere. He wants to just get the thing that he can just...
Well, to
And
be
we-
fair,
I
he
think
doesn't
it's a
want
mercy thing.
I know.
Like, I really do.
Like,
Like,
so lazy.
I'd rather just find 6 rocks and just snap my fingers instead of having to travel and kill everybody. After this whole scene on the ship, we go to Earth, and we're in Doctor Strange's mansion.
right, with the Hulk getting
Wait, well-
teleported down.
First of all, why the hell doesn't Wong have money to buy a tuna melt?
Because he's a monk, dog. He's not
He
into the
explains
Doctor
material.
Strange has money.
Because he's a doctor.
Yeah. What was the
He's
exact
like,
quote
I
from that
wouldn't,
dude?
I wouldn't say no to a tuna melt.
The attachments to the physical take away from the spiritual. Or something. Therefore, he only has $1.95 to his name. My man. But then, doesn't he still have an MP3 player that listens to Beyonce or something on it? What was the thing in Doctor Strange? What is he listening to? It's something stupid.
So while they're arguing about
It's the
if
multitask,
Doctor
we're not
Strange should
savages.
buy him a tuna melt,
Hulk.
crashes through the ceiling and into the steps, and they don't know what's going on, so they get their magic CDs ready.
They're mixtapes.
I like how Doctor Strange is in normal clothes. Hulk smashes through, and he's just like, cape flies out, hooked on.
Was he in regular clothes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was in street clothes, and then the cape just goes.
Oh, I guess he was
Right
on his way
away.
to the deli, and the people at the deli be like,
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
why is he wearing a
Nani?
cape, dog?
Yeah. Massacre.
And when we finally get to see what crashed through the ceiling, it was the Hulk, but he's slowly, like, shrinking back down the banner, and he delivers the message, Thanos is coming.
Yeah, have fun, kids. That's all
And-
you'll see of the Hulk.
Wong and Doctor Strange are like, who?
Nani?
Yeah.
And that's when we get the big, awesome title card with the theme music and stuff like that. And then we cut to the introduction of Iron Man and Pepper, right?
Yeah.
Why did Tony need to put that back in his chest?
That's where all the
It's not
nanomachines are.
in his chest. It's just attached because that holds the nanos.
Attached to what? He has
Just like it's attached to his chest.
Yeah, why did he need to do that? Why couldn't he put the nanobites in a
I-
keychain in
no,
his
no, no.
pocket?
Because that doesn't look cool. That's like his emblem, dog.
Also, I mean, even though they're nanomachines, I'm pretty sure a lot of them.
And
they
also
cover
that's
his
the
whole body.
power
Okay,
cord.
well, it comes
It's
from
still-
a thing this big. He
It's
couldn't-
still the power source.
No, they said he got surgery for it. So I think that's like, yeah, that's the
No.
power source, but it's like
he got surgery to remove that.
True. Does he?
I thought they implanted that back in his chest because she was
Yeah.
like, she's like, you wouldn't have done that, and she's like, how dare you?
Yeah, that's
do
what
that
I'm
to
saying.
yourself?
They implant.
I mean, to be fair, when he got the shrapnel removed, did he remove that like metal tube thing that was in his chest?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I
sure
mean,
they did fully fix him, and then Tony's like, just in case of an emergency where I have to be Iron Man
Screw
right
this!
now.
I'm digging a hole in my chest again.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't think he dug a hole in his chest. I think it's just like
Well, yeah,
attached to him
no.
somehow.
Yeah, Pepper said you wouldn't have done that to yourself.
And then they talked about surgery. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I really
Like,
don't know.
he made a suitcase with the Iron Man suit in it. He could have made something smaller that he could carry around with him at all times or something like that. I mean, it's cool. It is really cool. It's like sick, and I'm fine with him having the. It's not even an arc reactor anymore, but I'm fine with him having the chest piece in him. But it didn't make any sense. Like he had it surgically removed, which didn't make any sense because in the last two movies they were
You
like
can't surgically remove
can
it.
never be removed, and then in the third movie it gets removed,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he.
But
Like,
I mean, it was really cool.
Look, he's suffering PTSD. Let him be crazy, dog.
yeah, no, he's literally
Let him
like.
be nuts.
He's literally like, yo, some giant purple
Well,
dude with a glove could pop
It
out
wasn't
at any moment.
PTSD. That kind of
It
gets retconned in this movie. He in just a couple minutes it gets retconned. It does. Tony and Pepper like go back and forth, and Tony mentions that he wants a baby.
Yeah.
Now they say about naming it after Pepper's crazy cousin Morgan. That's actually a reference to a character in the comics, Morgan Stark, which is Tony Stark's nephew or cousin along those lines, and he's actually evil.
Oh, fun.
So that's a fun little Easter egg there. But yeah, it gets retconned because when Doctor Strange appears and says, "I need your help," and like they go back and forth and do the whole cape slapping thing and this and that. When they finally start talking about Thanos and stuff like that, he says, "Thanos has been in my head for the last 6 years," which
I don't think that's a literal been in his
well,
head, though.
later in the movie, Thanos knows who Tony Stark is.
Yeah.
When he got
Blew up his fucking army with a nuke.
but how did he know his name and everything?
Because he's Thanos. He knows, like, everything.
He does seem to just have a way with information and knowledge. He kind of just I don't
I've seen people
I don't
say that when he flew up into space and stuff like that, it triggered like a way for them to be connected, like to Thanos' army and stuff like that.
I don't think it is.
Which is why
To be
Thanos
honest,
knew exactly who Tony was, because he doesn't call anybody else by their names. Like, he doesn't say, like, "Oh, you're Peter Parker." And he says, "Thanos has been in my head for 6 years."
I think just the fear of
I don't think
another
it's a
attack on New
literal.
York because they did mention that attack a lot, and Bruce Banner specifically goes up to Tony like, the attack on New York, that was him, and Tony Stark's face is like, oh, nutty. He's
He's the one who sent Loki. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was kind of just like, you know.
You know, it's been 6 years. I just think they've gathered
And
information.
actually, this is one of the timeline things I said Infinity War got wrong, including all the different times and stuff like that. That actually should have been 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it should have been an 8-year difference.
Oh.
So unless there was like a 2-year period where he just forgot about it or got over it, like maybe like in the last 2 years he got over it. So Thanos was in his head for 6
Well,
years,
obviously
and then he
not.
kind of got over it. Well, he got over it, and then Thanos is coming back, so it kind of triggered it back or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know.
I still think it's just one of those, like, PTSD, struggling with it mentally in his head that way.
I think
That's
Thanos
me.
probably just has plus rep because Iron Man was basically ready to sacrifice himself, and he just flew up with that nuke. Luckily, he
You know, he kind of
fell
stood
back
out.
in to the portal. Yeah, he basically did the final blow to his entire army. Thanos was like, well, guess I'm gonna have to do it myself. Because I'm gonna have to get out of this stupid chair. So you know, I think he's like plus rep. He actually made me stand up in a movie.
So this is where they introduce Tony to the Time Stone and tell him like they have to protect it and this and that.
Why don't we destroy it? Because I have
Why
to
do we
protect
have
it.
garbage disposal?
Oh yeah.
And that's when he notices outside the wind's blowing, people are running and stuff like that, and Thanos' army is already here.
Right.
He's also blowing indoors because apparently he moved his hair.
Also,
Oh,
speaking...
well, that's because of the big hole from the Hulk.
That reminds me of something else.
Oh yeah.
Did you
That's
realize how very few extras there are in this whole movie? Like,
Yeah, well,
that scene
but,
and, like,
I mean,
Peter
there is
Parker in
a
the bus is,
lot
like, the
of
only
extra-
time with extras.
Wakanda.
Okay, yeah.
That's a lot of extras.
I should say, like, regular civvies.
Well, they're only in the city for. I mean, there's also
Like,
when Vision and Scarlet are.
It just seems like there's
where
very
are they?
few
France
people.
or Italy?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what day Hulk landed in it or whatever they decided to attack, but like, yeah, there really wasn't that many people for whatever city they were in, considering how crowded, like, the buildings were, and then there's like, maybe 10 people screaming and running, and then even at I'm not gonna talk about the very end yet. Let's just keep it in order. Never mind.
Anyway.
Well, they want to know where Vision is because they want to protect the Mind Stone, Soul
And
Stone.
then like,
Which
oh,
one?
yeah.
No,
Mine,
it's
mine.
no.
No, it's mine. Remember, because they have to find the Soul Stone.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yep. So it's the Mind Stone and Vision, and he doesn't know where Vision is because he shut off his tracking.
Which you can do.
And they say, okay, well, how do we find him? And Tony says Steve Rogers should be able to find Vision. How?
I think it's just been. I think that maybe they left together.
Well, later they definitely tell, like, Steve Rogers, Black Widow, they're the ones who have been helping Scarlet Witch and Vision get hooked up.
Okay.
And I'm
I
assuming
get it.
Tony just knows about that because he's Tony Stark and knows everything.
And
Yeah, just not specific.
but they'd say,
occasions.
look, the world's ending. You need to get a hold of Steve because of the events of Civil War. They're not talking, but he has the old school flip phone with Steve Rogers' name on it, which I completely forgot about. So I'm like, why does he have such an old phone?
Yeah,
Like, don't worry, guys. I guess I'll call him.
I like immediately.
Oh,
when that
wait,
happened-
trouble. Not gonna do that.
Yep.
Yeah, for real. Oh,
So
yeah.
then all hell breaks loose. We meet the first two of the. Well, we meet them already.
We meet the
earlier
brute
scenes.
guy and the
Mage guy.
telekinetic
Squidward.
Force.
Squidward.
He literally just has the Force, but like super good.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
think he really used anything else.
So there now we have a big battle between the two Black Order members: Iron Man, Wong, Doctor Strange, and Bruce Banner.
Oh,
Now would be a time to get
introduce this-
angry. All right, give me a second. And
erectile dysfunction.
yeah, erectile dysfunction.
Basically.
Dude,
You're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards.
the Hulk's been getting benched really hard, and I really
Yeah.
hope that for the next part 2,
They're-
that he actually. I hope he plays a big role.
They're
They have
confusing me with the whole Hulk thing. In Thor Ragnarok, he was the Hulk for 2 years without converting back to Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned back into Banner, and he was like, I'm scared to go back into the Hulk because I may never come back. He ended up turning into the Hulk, and he never came back by the end of Thor Ragnarok, so we didn't know what was going on. By the beginning of Infinity War, he just came back to the Banner again,
Well-
and he wasn't concerned about that at all. Like, he's like, oh man, I'm still not figuring out this or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then he's just like perfectly fine with going back to being the Hulk again come...
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's
that's
kinda
probably
just
'cause he's
something they
like-
overlooked.
I-
But maybe, I don't know. I don't think they really.
I mean, I think he
matter.
turns back into Bruce because Hulk does get scared because he gets beat by Thanos.
Yeah, which I understand.
And then I think that's the point where Bruce is like, it
But-
doesn't matter if I can turn back. It's Thanos.
Yeah,
It just
right.
seems it seems,
Yeah, he
it
was
seems
super
strange
spooked.
that they would even do that whole I don't think I'm ever going to be able to go back to being Bruce Banner again if I turn into the Hulk plot device in Thor Ragnarok if they're just going to have him literally go back and forth between Banner and Hulk like 4 times
Well,
since then.
I think
What if when he does finally turn back and he gets stuck like that again?
he could.
Like, it seems like the only reason why he's able to turn back into Bruce right now might just be because Hulk doesn't want to be there.
I think that Bruce Banner felt the same fear that the Hulk did when he got his shit kicked in by that fucking purple dude. Which, by the way, when I was talking to my friends about, who would win in just, a normal fist fight, all of them were like, yeah, Hulk. He's super swole. But in this movie, he just gets destroyed, and Thanos doesn't even use any of the stones. He just punches the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Using his super boxing and
He does that a
WWE
lot,
slam.
actually. He uses his regular hand to punch people a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's because he doesn't really want to
he,
I mean,
dude said,
the
"Let's
glove isn't indestructible, which we'll find later. The glove can be destroyed. It's just basically a holster for the stones.
Yeah. Now, I'm
Now
just
that
saying
you
that it
know
was
that.
crazy that Thanos in this movie was literally able to just take on the Hulk easy.
And plus, I assume he's dominant in his right hand. And that's why he put the glove in the left hand. Because
probably.
he's going to punch with his right hand, so he put the glove in the left hand to control all the stones. Which is why he punches with
Speaking of his fighting style, Thanos is surprisingly agile for his size.
Dude, his boxing is insane. Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude!
like,
That's like one of my favorite fights of the whole movie. It's just that the beginning when Hulk just gets the shit kicked out of him.
Like, when you consider he's like, what, 6'8", 6'7", something like that, and 985 pounds, like, he's surprisingly fast.
Hulk cannot keep up at all. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So they start the battle between the Black Order members, and he's just like, you will all die but you will be children of Thanos. He's like, Earth is closed today. He sends, Doctor Strange sends Banner away to protect him since he can't turn into the Hulk and stuff like that.
Thinking back on the whole, with him talking about like the synergy between everybody, Iron Man makes a joke about Earth being closed. Alien dude makes a comment. Doctor Strange is like, "You heard him? Earth is closed."
Oh no!
Like, they're
no.
already,
He
like,
says
bouncing off
he
of
says to Doctor Strange, "Does this Earthling speak for you?" And
He
he
says, "No, I
says,
speak for myself.
Yeah.
Fuck off." It was awesome.
"Yeah, that was a
They really do play off each other really well.
yeah." I think Doctor Strange and Iron Man are like a really good pair. And they actually, I was watching like videos and stuff. Like they were actually planning on not putting them together because of how similar they are.
I think.
But then they
makes
thought it would
better.
actually play better because having them so similar, it could have been like one's a narcissist and then one's even a bigger narcissist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was just like that entire fight is great. I'm trying to think how does that fight even end? Like
When did he get
Doctor Strange
Doctor
knocked
Strange
unconscious somehow. I forget.
He literally
And then
gets
his
choked out.
cape is like, "Gotta save my
That's
master."
it, yep.
Wraps him up, flies
oh,
away.
and while the fight's going on, we see the school bus with my
And
man Peter
Tom
on it,
Holland.
My boy Ned,
and his
like
his,
on point, ready to pop out those
his little-
distractions.
like little hairs standing up on his thing. He's like, Ned, I need a distraction. We're all gonna die.
Like not even a second of hesitation.
Which leads us to a rather disappointing Stan Lee cameo.
Like, yeah, it was kind of like, guys, we gotta fit this in like real quick because there's
Like,
no space for
What's
this in
the
the rest
matter?
of the
You
movie.
haven't seen a spaceship before? Which it was funny, but I feel like a lot of the other ones in the MCU were a lot better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, where else would you like put him? Because there's like a
They
whole
spent a
space
lot
arc
of time
and Wakanda
not
arc.
on
You know-
How would you put Stanley in Wakanda?
Make him a Wakandan warrior.
That would actually be hilarious. And they should have done it. Now that I think back to it, dude, that would have been hilarious. Oh, you guys haven't fought for Wakanda before?
Also, I think it was you in our last podcast made a comment about like Peter Parker hanging off the side of a bus. How does nobody notice him?
No, that was me. Yeah.
No,
It was
yeah,
you?
you were completely
And it's
right.
like, well,
Yep,
now
that-
we got
I-
an answer
that
because
answer-
Ned is a master distractor.
We're all gonna die.
I honestly would have preferred something along the lines of what I said my favorite Stanley cameo was, where he actually talked to one of the heroes. Like, maybe after the death of, like, some of the, like, one of the characters, have it happen, like, on, like, in a populated city or something like that, and have, like, one of the heroes mourning and have Stanley, like, walk up and say something reassuring to the
But that
hero.
never really happened somewhere where
Yeah, I know.
Stanley would make sense.
I just think it would have been a better
yeah.
type of cameo for this kind of big movie. Like, they just played off like a laugh-off cameo, which I kind of feel like the Stanley cameos are kind of getting
Haven't they always been like
dumber. No, they started out as literally just quick glimpses of him, like, running away and stuff like
But
that.
they've never been like serious.
Well,
like if
they
Stanley
did.
ever
In that, my favorite one is Peter's, like, in the original Spider-Man movies, Peter's, like, questioning, like, should I continue being Spider-Man? And Stan Lee walks up to him and looks at a picture of Spider-Man that Peter's looking at and says, you know, I feel like one person can make a difference. And that's kind of what drives Peter to becoming. And then, like, I mean, they got dumped, like, goofier and goofier, which the goofy ones are fun, but now it's just like...
Definitely not their
th-
strongest
yeah,
cameo.
But anyway, Spider-Man gets all masked up and shoots out the window of the bus and joins the fight with Iron Man, Doctor Strange. Like you said, Doctor Strange gets knocked out.
They get beamed up, as
Yeah,
Tom Holland
and
says.
Tom Holland, I'm getting beamed up.
More Star Trek references.
And he ends up sticking to the side of the spaceship on his web as it's literally going out of the atmosphere. And I thought they were going to pull a Jimmy Neutron for a little bit, where they were going to be able to breathe without helmets in space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like how that's like Stark's like, kid, you have to get off, but you're gonna run out of air.
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
And that's when we get introduced to the Iron Spider, which is a legit awesome suit.
Yeah.
It was pretty alright.
And I love how Tony's just like, Karen, make him go home.
Yeah.
Okay, starts leaving. Somehow manages to hold on to spaceship still.
Yeah. I mean, I assume he just web sling through the parachute. I don't know. I don't
Something.
know how he did that. Yeah. He probably just ripped it off. I don't know.
He like
He's
said
super
it's the
small.
suit's fault. So I'm like, I wonder.
So technically, it's your fault. Are you serious right now? I take it back.
Yeah, so Spidey ends up inside the ship with Tony Stark, who also boarded the ship to save Doctor Strange. And then there's like this emotional scene where he's like on the phone with Pepper, like, hey, I'm going to be late for dinner, and she's like,
I'm going to, and then it cuts off.
She's like, are you
In-
on that
incoming
spaceship?
divorce.
Are you on that spaceship? Look,
yeah, and it's
I
like,
have
it's
to
like
do this.
played out like emotional and stuff like that. Like, Tony, are you on that ship? And he's like, yeah. And like they're talking about it, and like it never goes anywhere later on in the movie, which is like one of the things that bothered me. Like,
I honestly really don't care for any of that.
well, I don't care about Pepper that much either. Like,
I think it's part of the same reason why they talked about the kid. It's trying to build you up to be like, oh man, we're learning more. Stark is moving
which
forward.
I
like
agree
he's
with,
progressing. It's going better.
which is.
That means he's gonna die. That means he's gonna die.
Which is, that's why I feel like we should have gone back to Pepper at least once more in the movie, like, worried about Tony, showing what she's doing in this kind of situation while this is all going on. And which is one of the things that I literally thought about the entire movie was, what the hell is Aunt Meg going through?
Oh,
Yeah.
She knew that he was on the school bus going to school.
We're on a field trip.
And then disappeared. And at the end of Homecoming, we got the whole, what the scene. So she has to know that he's Spider-Man by now.
Right.
So she must know he's out doing some Spider-Man thing, but she also saw this giant spaceship attacking. Is she worried that he's dead? What's going through her head?
Well, it's not like
he had no way. He didn't call her or anything to let her know what was going
Pepper
on.
probably has a phone that can reach his suit in that super far range. Aunt May probably has a normal phone that is not going to reach into the stratosphere.
Okay, so
And it happens all pretty
I
quickly.
still feel like, and Peter's literally going into space.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know.
Well, he's a teenage kid. He's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to space fighting with Iron
Yeah,
Man.
no,
I
that-
should
that-
call my aunt.
Well, I'd be scared shitless if I was a teenager going into outer
He's
space.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
With Tony Stark. And he has a cool new
Okay,
suit.
he
with
cries.
spider
He has
legs.
cried like a baby twice in the MCU already.
He has grown.
Later in the
Yes.
movie shows that.
Okay, because he's literally vaporizing.
You
I
also
would
can sense
probably
it.
be
Everyone else
crying
doesn't
too.
see it coming, but he does because he knows it's coming and he can't
I would
dodge
probably
this.
be crying too if I started dissipating.
Yeah. If I was a teenager, regardless if I was Spider-Man or not, I'm going into an all-new territory that I've never thought I'd be in before, sticking to the side of a spaceship, leaving the atmosphere. The first thing I'm going to think of is, like, I might die.
Yeah, but you can't think about that if you're a superhero.
I think you can.
Also, I think
I-
he has like Tony Stark has just been like the father figure.
Tony flew into space and it gave him PTSD that caused an entire movie. I think if a teenager, even if he's a superhero, flies into outer space, even just a little bit, would cause problems
But
that
Iron Man's
they could die.
PTSD isn't as much space as much as flying into space. Holy shit, that's a lot of aliens.
And I'm holding a nuke.
Aliens aren't supposed to exist.
I still think it's a scary
I just
situation that Peter was
basically
in.
died.
And I would have liked to have seen at least a reference to Aunt May and how she's reacting to her son being
I really
missing.
wasn't
I just don't think it was that important. They didn't have time for that, you know?
Yeah,
it was almost a 3-hour movie. They could have added 5 minutes in of like Aunt May like calling, like, have you seen Peter? Do you know if he's okay?
It would have been weird to put it anywhere.
Yeah, like
I'm trying to think where
I just
would
don't
you...
think it would have fit in the movie.
Because
the
Because this
movie
is Thanos' movie. This is not. We already got Homecoming.
It's so
So that he could cry like a bitch. Other than it gets the shit snapped out of him.
like Iron Man is obviously one of the main dudes for this movie and for the next movie coming out. I think they're just trying to focus on the main people who are going to be in the second part. So like Spider-Man is like, look, we don't have time to fit in a little extra backstory for you. We got to just keep moving
You'll
forward.
be here to do pop culture with Star-Lord and bounce off each other, but also be
Yeah.
relevant.
You know what I mean?
All right, so he boards the ship, meets up with Iron Man. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? And so he's like, all right, well, you're going to have to stay with me now, and, promotes him to an official Avenger.
The music that was like the hypest music I've gotten so far. Because usually the music's hype in the beginning of every like Marvel movie, but since it started out with everyone dying, it was kind of just like a lull.
It's like
In the
somewhere in here we
OST?
also find out that Doctor Strange protected the Time Stone with like a
Magic.
spell that's basically impossible to break, which is a big thing. Which is why he got kidnapped in the first place, I believe.
Yeah, because he went to take it and he was like, fuck my hands. And then the Doctor Strange's like, oh yeah, I mean, fuck off. You're not gonna get past the spell unless you not even kill me. I have to take the spell off. And he's like, well, I'll just torture you. He's like, oh, nice. Luckily, Doctor Strange was like, bitch, I ain't giving it up.
And this is also the first not hero death that happens. because
Oh,
Spider-Man's
yeah.
this whole, like, have you seen
Oh, yeah.
Alien?
Which, he gets sucked through the wall. Could he still be alive? I mean, he's an alien. We don't know exactly how he works. Like, could Ebony Maw come back?
Could, but I think it's implied that, no, he's dead.
Yeah. I think it is implied that he's dead. I'm just thinking, like, is there a possible way that they could bring him back, like, in the next part?
I wouldn't
First.
be totally infuriated if it was like, I'm an alien who can survive in the vacuum of space, versus if Loki came back and was like, that was a decoy. Like, and then they're two different.
There are some comics where that, I forget his name, so I'm going to call him Squidward, where Squidward does actually create his own Black Order to, like, also pursue Thanos's mission. But I think that was, like, an alternate universe comic. I'm not 100% sure. If that wasn't an alternate universe, maybe he did survive. I don't know. But most likely, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
He was like, it's weird because out of all the whole Black Order, he was like probably the most
He was
powerful.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was, like the face of the Black Order. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like that religious monk, but also like, out of all of them, like, okay, a bunch of them are good at kung fu and have nice blades. The one is just like Hulk, but I don't think as swole. He has a nice axe.
His
And then
arm
he
gets
has a nice
chopped
out-
off,
he has
which
a
I
nice
find
what?
hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he just gets like a robot replacement. That was
Yeah.
lit. And then he literally has like the Force, but super good, and is also like the main follower of Thanos. And he apparently at one point said
Yeah,
he's
like the rest of
never
them are
failed.
just good fighters, and he's like, I have magic.
Yeah, I literally have the Force. I have what's it called? Midichlorians? What's it called in Star Wars? I don't know.
yeah, something like-
Metachlorians.
Midichlorians. Something.
Midichlorians.
Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. That's what he has.
Yeah.
So they rescue Doctor Strange and stuff like that. And did they decide to stay on the ship, or were they like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We're
They
stuck on
decided
the
to bring the fight to Thanos. 'Cause he
Yeah,
wouldn't be
so they
expecting
were
it.
like, we could go back to Earth
That's
and
right.
like prepare some defenses, but
Because I
Tony's
was
like,
gonna
or
ask.
we could charge in there and be like, fuck you!
Yeah, we have a few people here. We got them.
I was gonna ask, and this applies to, I mean, when they get to the planet and stuff like that. Doctor Strange just couldn't open a portal back to Earth.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Like, maybe he has a certain range? Like, I don't know.
Maybe,
But
I mean, they made
feel like
Loki
could've.
fall for like in empty space for 30 minutes.
maybe he just had him going through the same portal over and over again.
That's what I always assumed.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like some perpetual empty.
Yeah,
He
Space.
could.
I
He
don't
could
know.
use like the mirror realm to just make an area that just goes down forever.
I
don't
have
know.
wondered. I wondered about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like even to save like Peter, like I mean, they're like, hey, he's just a kid. Here's a portal. Go back
Well,
home.
I definitely think they
We'll
were
take care.
past it at that point. They were just kind of like, all right, yeah, you're
Yeah.
an Avenger. We're doing this.
And that's fine. I just like I thought like he would at least here's a portal back to the home, back to the house. Go, or something like that. Like warn everybody. Go warn everybody. Tell them this that. Like, or something.
I could see Stark maybe being like, hey, can you like teleport us? But I don't think Doctor Strange cared enough about them to be like, yo,
yeah,
I could
because he
teleport
straight
you.
up says, guys,
Which is a big thing.
If-
He straight up says, if you guys are about to die, Spider-Man, Iron Man, I'm going to let you die in order to protect this
That
time
was
stone."
epic foreshadowing.
That's a very
against that.
important thing that he says.
yeah.
As soon as he said that, I was like, he's definitely gonna give it up for him. Like at some point, he's definitely going to.
He's going to have a change of heart.
Yeah, see,
But the
see
reason
that
is not
that
what you
Yeah, I don't
expect.
think he really had a change of heart, but
it was necessary for a
Yeah.
certain cause. Which is
So-
pretty crazy.
But we'll get to that.
while they're traveling through space, this is the point when it cuts to
Guardians.
Guardians.
I love the fucking. What was it? It was literally like it just shows literally space, and then it gives the
It
text
says
of
space.
It's like you don't
That-
say.
That got a lot of laughs in the theater.
That was the best joke. Just putting text of space.
So we see all of them,
Jamming out to classic.
Yeah, what song was playing?
I don't know because I like all the songs they play in Guardians of the Galaxy, but
You
they're like
realize it's
I
one of
don't
the
know.
only 2 songs that play in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because in the post credits, usually have like 8 or 9 different songs. There's
Yep.
literally 2,
Yeah, I saw that. I saw them mention that.
Huh.
and it's like the first one.
nice.
So they're jamming to like some song, and Groot is playing this game.
Right.
oh my god,
That scene from the trailer is
Yeah.
just like,
aim Groot. Whoa,
This game
Language.
is brought up multiple times throughout the movie. This is another thing that kind of bugged me about it. Like
which game was it?
it was Defenders. And
Oh.
like it's actually kind of an Easter egg because the plot of the old Defenders game is kind of like along the lines of the plot of Infinity War.
I mean, hey, if they weren't going to bring in the Defenders from the TV series, gotta bring in the Defenders the game.
but the whole group playing the game thing kind of it went nowhere. They bring it up multiple times throughout the movie. Like, I told you to get off that game, and he doesn't get off the game. Later, I told you to get off that game. He doesn't get off the game. I thought it was going to play, like, some kind of plot. Like, it'd be, like, a plot device later.
I think it's just their way of being, like, Groot is now a moody teenager.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the game specifically. Like, they kept talking about that game, and he literally wouldn't put it down. Like, I thought it was going to do something like...
Be more plot heavy, the game
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, like,
I
something
thought it was just
like...
kind of a tool for Groot's development, because once he puts it down, it's like he's now a part. He's now relevant, and he is now going to actually do things like meld the fucking whatever together. What's it called?
He literally only
Stormbreaker?
puts it down to become the handle
Yeah.
for Stormbreaker.
Yeah, and actually, he literally...
So the Guardians get a distress signal, and they want to go because they're going to get money.
And if they
or
don't get
their
money,
ship.
their ship.
And they end up going and finding that it's the Asgardian ship that got blown up by Thanos' army. And there's somebody floating in space.
Well, more like a fly on their windshield.
Wipers, get it off.
get it off, get it off. And they end up bringing Thor onto the ship. And that's when we get the trailer scene. Who the hell are you guys?
I was so disappointed that they didn't do the I'm Star-Lord. Who?
Yeah, I was so angry.
Yeah.
Like literally, that is like the one joke that you had in your arsenal that you could put there that would have been perfect.
However, they did replace with more Drax being like, oh no, it wasn't even Drax. Star-Lord. How did this dude survive in space?
That is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man.
This is a man. Therefore, he can survive in space. Dude, I love Drax. This is a man. He was like that level of like just stupid, manly fighting spirit logic, like in Gurren Lagann comedy. He's like, I am a man, therefore I can
Do anything.
Yeah, do anything. I can breathe in space.
So
That
through-
whole thing.
Yeah, through like talking with Thor and then like that, Thor's like, I'm taking your escape pod. Like, I'm going here. And they end up deciding, well, first of all, Star-Lord's like, I don't like this guy. So I'm going to, you're not taking our
So
shit.
I'm just going to copy you.
Are
man.
you mocking me?
This guy's trying to copy me. He did it first. I like how Thor kind of like backs up and is like, what is he doing? Is this man lit?
Groot and Rocket go with Thor to help him.
Yeah, so it is the Asgardian, the rabbit, and the tree all going
They call
to...
him Rabbit.
Which I
rabbit
like
is
that
correct.
they're doing a little more character development on Rocket again. Because Star-Lord's just like, I know you're only going because that's where Thanos isn't.
Oh yeah, they basically made Rocket like give him a
And
little pussy moment there.
I think they're trying
Or he's
to...
smart.
Well, I think
if I
they're
was a raccoon, I wouldn't fight Thanos.
I think they're trying to push that, like, Rocket really is just out for himself. He's not really, like, superhero thing.
Yeah, which
And I
makes
think
him
that's
a little bit
because of what
unlikable
happens
if
in
you
the
think
end.
about it.
I mean, to be fair, in the scene near the end, he clearly does feel for at least Groot.
Yeah, and I think that's why. They're making him, like, look worse, so that once Groot dies, in the next movie, he's gonna come back and become, like, an Avenger superhero, like, I'm here to kick ass now because you killed my best friend. You know? Put him down a little so it makes
they
his
can rise him.
jump
Yeah.
even better.
I can
Which
see
I
that.
kind of like what they were doing with that. If that's the path they're going. I could be completely wrong.
I mean, he is the only Guardians of the Galaxy
He is only
person
a trash
alive,
can.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the only
so
one who
he's
survived.
probably gonna, be pretty big in this part 2, I
I think
hope.
he's gonna have a role, yeah. Gamora, Star-Lord, romance official.
Yes.
Also the hinting that Gamora knows where the Soul Stone is, and that it's so important that Thanos doesn't know, that she's like, you love me, right, Star-Lord? Then, kill me.
Okay, so
Was that now or was that a little bit later?
No, she definitely was like, hey, if
I mean,
Thanos gets a hold
there
of me...
might have been a scene in between, but, like, it's basically right after.
Also, I literally said, like, maybe 20, 30 minutes ago that I didn't care about any of the romantic subplots. That's the one romantic subplot that I do care about. Because they have been together for, 2 whole movies, done a whole lot of shit. Meanwhile,
I'm
I don't
almost
know.
disappointed in Gamora, though. Because it's like, man, Star-Lord's been making the moves on you, and, like, I know, I was kind of rooting for it, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you finally gave in, Gamora?
I think that's... I don't know.
Torture the boy longer.
Yeah, and then that's where you get the classic scene of, I just can stand so incredibly still that no one can see me." He's literally been watching them make out for like the past hour.
How long have you been there? An hour.
To be fair, his method was quite effective. Like, if someone
Apparently.
stands that close for an hour and you don't notice,
The
They
thing,
have to
I
be
don't
really
think
still.
he was there for an hour because the camera definitely goes and like shows at one point where he was.
Do you think he doesn't know how
standing.
time works? Because that's even more hilarious.
I'm pretty sure he just like showed up at one point and was like, "It's been here for an hour." So they're like, "Really?" But I don't think it actually was.
The only problem is he's so literal that like I don't feel like he would make a joke or lie. I think the only way for that to happen is if he literally doesn't know how to tell time, which that makes me love him even more if that's the case. He gets hours and minutes mixed up. Could have been there for a minute.
Yeah.
Also, he was standing there with the same bag of chips for an hour, moving incredibly slowly. So you couldn't see him.
I have
You
mastered
can't see
the art
me.
of invisibility.
Crunch.
I honestly at first was expecting him to like actually go invisible from staying there for so long. Like,
Can they give him that? Well, I mean, he is invisible now.
Oh, god damn it.
I apologize.
like I was just waiting for him to be like,
And they just...
and it just fade. Like, what?
Can they
But
can
I'm
I just give him that power
No.
if he
it's,
comes back?
it's better this way.
But that'd be so funny if, like, every time he moves very slowly, he becomes invisible. It's like such a dumb power because you can't do anything. You have to slowly creep up onto your target. It's so useless. And then the scene after that, isn't that when
This, did we bounce? This is where. Oh, I guess this is where we're introduced to Vision and Scarlet.
Yeah. Another romance.
I mean, whatever. I don't remember what the Vision was like in Age of Ultron, but wasn't he kind of struggling with, like, human emotions? So is he kind of just, like...
They've said that he's evolving.
Yeah, like the.
But I don't think that makes him very bangable. But I don't know. Don't look at me like that. Keep your socks on.
Which would disagree.
I guess so. I feel like it was kind of forced just for plot relevance near the end, because of course she's the only one who can kill him because her powers come from... Didn't she get it from, I remember some
testing.
Yeah, testing with,
I think it was given to her. Or like triggered or something like that.
wasn't it from one of the Infinity Stones or something? I think that was
Actually,
a meme.
it might have been some because of tests with the Mind Stone.
Yeah, so that's why it was like, we need the same frequency. Which I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of weird that some, human who's just tested on a bit has the power to just blow up an Infinity Stone. But I mean, it's still, like, that's the way that makes the most sense. To have an emotional scene near the end where you have to blow up some dude's head. Yeah, I feel like that was kind of forced just for plot relevance. I mean, I didn't really care that much because the scene with them making out and being romantic is, like, literally, like, 5 minutes. But on my third rewatch, I was like, okay, I just want to go back to fighting, which they do. And he literally gets backstabbed mid-sentence.
I think it's also kind of a big deal that the two of them are talking about leaving the Avengers, leaving the whole superhero thing to be together.
And they literally get pulled back in immediately.
Yeah.
They literally get stabbed in the back by Corvus.
Yeah.
And what's the other chick's name?
Ba, 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 ba. And that's when we get a little bit of that Cap action again.
Oh yeah, I like
After
how...
they-
Yeah,
for the
this is the whole
Which
Scarlet Witch and
they've shown how much Scarlet Witch has grown with her fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's catching and throwing Vision around. She's launching herself, shooting up, like, beating the crap out of other people. Like, she's grown as a fighter, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of shows just how powerful she is.
I think Elizabeth Olsen is straight up just adorable.
She is.
Like, I don't even think she's like hot or anything. Like, I think she's just adorable to look at. First of all,
That's the actor
So the
for
fact-
what's her face? Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah.
I would
Like-
honestly go the opposite route. I don't know. I feel like totally smash, but I wouldn't really look at you all that long.
I think she's adorable, which makes the fact that she's like later on, like especially in Wakanda, she's a straight up badass.
She's a badass during that fight.
Yeah, I know. I like especially during Wakanda, like when like she comes down and when Shuri's
swoops
like,
in, it's just like,
why was she not here the whole time?
Oh, probably because she was defending the one dude, and as soon as she left, they took advantage of that. The reason pops up immediately. Also, is this a good time to complain about the Vision and not being really able to do much with an Infinity Stone?
He shoots his Mind Stone beam once. It gets, like, blocked.
Deflected, and then he does it again, block.
And
He
he's like,
can't
oh no,
phase
I
anymore.
can't phase through you. And then he's just like, well, that's all I got. I'm just going to sit here and get stabbed over and over and over.
Yeah, for real. He, like, it was literally, it was the, what's the thing called? The Chad Eye of Quasimodo or whatever that did a lot for the movie versus the Virgin Mind Stone in what's his face's head that did like
nothing mind powery. It didn't even give Thanos a migraine when he rolled up to kill him. It did nothing mind stone related, which made me. That was one big thing that like I kind of wanted to see more of. At the very least, the only thing
I wanted to see
that
more
it did,
Infinity Stone on Infinity Stone action.
exactly. They kind of held back a bit. I mean, I have Quasimodo. I don't know. I like to call it Quasimodo because what's that one movie?
Track of Notre Dame.
Thank you. Yes, I have whatever. They use it a lot to basically spoil the ending of Infinity War Part 2 for at least Doctor Strange. They do a lot of like utility things. They don't do any like Dio Zoardo time stop or whatever. But I think Doctor Strange also doesn't want to like break the universe. Because Thanos is trying to wipe out half of it. If Doctor Strange goes too hard, he could just break it. So I guess in a way it kind of makes sense that he held back. But for the Mind Stone, there's really not much of an excuse other than like Vision really didn't know how to use it. But like it's still in your head, and he's like, I've been analyzing it, and I can find out that I can kill myself if I use you, and that's it. And I can shoot laser beams.
Well, he's not even the one who figured that out. Sure he is.
Wait, what?
Shuri's the one who figures that out. Well, she does some scans on it. It's like, yeah, if we just get something out of the
Well, no, he's the one who goes up to Scarlet Witch and goes, hey, I know that if a power similar to my own were to come in contact with it, it would break. And that's what Scarlet Witch was like, I want to smash you more. So I'm not killing you. And, like, he's been studying the Mind Stone, and he hasn't found any way to, like, use it offensively or just, like, in any way possible. He just shoots beams out of it, which is, like, totally not Mind Stone. That's, like, Power Stone.
You know, he can definitely just take over, like, anyone's mind.
Yeah, I like, at the very least, I wanted Thanos to roll up and have him be like, Mind Stone, and then Thanos would be like, the brain-hurting juice. I can't take it. And then just, like, fight through it using, I don't know, any stone he felt like. Time Stone stops time and just rolls up. Punches him in the face.
So they're out and about, and that's when they get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. By the two. It's the chick and not Corvus Glaive. It's the big.
No, it is.
It is.
It is okay. And that's when we get Cap coming in and rescuing them.
I had to point out that Bruce is the one who calls him. Because
Bruce did call. Yeah, at the very end.
Because he's like the only one left from the fight.
Yeah,
still
he
on
takes.
Earth.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm alone now. Oh, here's a phone. Steve Rogers.
flip
Sounds
phone.
good. Yeah, so they kill... Do they kill... Yeah, they do kill Corvus. They kill Corvus Glaive.
No, they don't.
No, not yet. He makes it till the end of the movie. He's literally the last one that dies.
Well, then it's not Corvus Glaive in this fight.
It is Corvus.
It is.
Well, no, because they
don't die.
He's literally
They bait the death. They bait the death. For tactical reason, they bait the death because in the thing of Wakanda, the bitch...
He gets injured.
The bitch goes up to the barrier and they're talking smack at each other. And Scarlett Johansson goes, hey, where's your friend? And then the one girl goes, you will pay for his death with your own.
That's why I was saying... It's a bait.
Yeah, and then he came back, and then when Scarlet Bitch left, he jumped down. The girl was like, take the shot. And that's when he jumped in and attacked Vision again. Yeah. It was a sick bait. It was literally like 3D chess.
Okay, I got you.
I don't know. 4D chess, that's what I meant. That's the meme.
That's something else that I have to think is kind of funny. Because Bruce calls Steve, and it's like, tells him what the situation is on.
No.
And it's like, this stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
And Steve brings Black Widow with him to save them. But then, when they meet up at the Avengers headquarters with Iron Patriot, Bruce and Black Widow are like, or Black Widow's like, you're alive? Like, yeah. It's like, did Steve mention who called him?
Wait, no, I think
yeah, that was kind of a weird interaction.
Widow, we need to go save Vision and Scarlet Witch right now. Why? Because
some green guy just called me.
That was a weird interaction between Bruce and Natasha.
I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
because it's like we're lovers and you ran away. And at the same time,
it's just like
in every comic I've ever seen.
Hey Bruce, hey Nat.
Cap and Black Widow have their romance, so it kind of makes you wonder, maybe during those 2 years, those two finally hooked up, and now it's like, well, this is awkward, like someone said, and it's like, why? Why is it awkward?
So also, Cap and Black Widow have disguises. He grew the beard out, she dyed her hair and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Even though she looks exactly the same.
How come Falcon didn't change his look at all?
I don't know. Was it really a disguise, or was it literally just them?
No, they definitely... Well, I think maybe Steve...
It really wasn't much of a disguise.
While they're at the compound and stuff, that's when Vision gives the idea to, like, kill himself using Wanda's power.
And she's not.
I have the plot up.
Really? I thought he just
Yeah,
suggests he kills himself.
Yep.
Like,
No, he's literally like
At the
Wanda-
Avengers compound, Vision offers to sacrifice himself by having Maximoff destroy the Mind Stone to keep Thanos from retrieving it.
And then Captain America's like, we don't trade
Yep.
lives here.
Roger suggests the travel to Wakanda, which he believes has the resources to remove the stone without destroying Vision. Because Banner says you're not just the Mind Stone, you're
you're
also Tony and me and Ultron.
Jarvis, Ultron,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
So
Bruce,
I
Mind
thought
Stone.
the stone was basically like his heart. Like I thought that's what brought him to life. But apparently taking that out and him being made by Tony Stark and Bruce
I think
Banner
that's what like
is
brought
good
him
enough.
to life, but I guess because he's evolved.
I think that's what's helped him
He's
merge.
beyond
But
the
now,
stone.
yeah, exactly. Since he's evolving and
Oh,
being
okay,
able to
that's-
study
yeah, that
it
makes
as
more
like an
sense now.
outside entity, he's able to.
And we actually got the plot mixed up a little bit because right after this is when the Guardians are introduced. Yeah.
Wait,
But to
seriously?
be fair,
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
pulled up
you're
the
right.
it
plot
jumps
to help
around
us flow.
so much.
Yeah, no,
it's
I
fine.
pulled up the plot just to help us remember where we're at and stuff like that.
Also, there's a comment that Iron Patriot makes that I find is like, why have that? Because it's not true. And he's like, man, you guys look really rough. And it's like, they all look like they're still incredibly fit. And
Yeah,
in
like
great condition.
Steve's like
They-
beard.
they-
is
beard
like,
is perfectly groomed.
They really didn't look bad at all.
Really,
like
the only one
his-
who looked rough was Iron Patriot. He looked thinner, and I mean, sure, his legs are working now because of robotic technology.
Yeah. Also, other than him, Vision was clearly the only one who got banged up at all.
yeah,
He walked in just like
Yeah, and then, like,
with a bunch
that's-
of holes.
like, well, we have been staying in cheap motels. Like, guys, you all look perfect. Why do we need this in the movie? Like,
Yeah.
we can just not have that.
It was strange. My man's beard was looking pretty nice. Someone
I
clearly
think he
helped out
looks
with that.
really cool with the beard and stuff like that. But then I think like, what if he put his mask on?
Oh.
Wait, what?
What if
He
Captain
looks
America
so
put his
funny.
mask on?
Oh. Yeah, that'd be
It does
funny.
kind of take away from, like, it definitely pulls him away from that, like, I am the symbol of America.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you get what I meant? Like
Yeah,
during the
he
last
does have the
podcast?
star ripped off.
Yeah, the star's
everything.
gone. It's still his outfit, but the star's ripped off. A lot of people I think I've seen call him like Nomad now, which is like a different name that Captain America went by when he wasn't being Captain America. And I've also seen people call him the Man Without a Country.
Well, that would make sense. That's kind of what he's become.
Yeah. So after this is when we're introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy and the whole Finding Thor thing, but we've already covered all that. Quill, Gamora, and the rest of them on the ship, they decide to go to nowhere,
Right.
which is where they encounter Thanos. Because they went to go save him from, they saved the Collector and stuff like that from him.
And I like how the Guardians are like, only an idiot would leave an Infinity Stone with the Collector, and Thor's like, oh, it didn't seem like that bad of an idea.
Yeah, he was like, or a genius, and it's like, well. So how did the Collector? Oh wait, was that
The Collector was there talking to Thanos, and it was Drax?
Top
correct?
10 anime baits? Yeah, it was Drax who gets angry, pissed off first because
Like,
of his family.
the whole time, Quill's like, do this, do that, do
Oh,
this.
yeah.
And he does the one hand signal to stop. That was probably like one of my low-key favorite things.
Okay,
They
just
just
keep
walk,
going.
they walk past.
And long story short, it's just a fake. Like
Top 10
Thanos
anime
already
baits.
has the Reality Stone. This is all just a sick bait.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to see how the
Pull
Collector
in.
died, and we didn't get to see how he got the stone. So our theory about seeing the building just kind of like explode while he gets the stone or whatever like that. But he ends up kidnapping Gamora.
Right.
Mhm.
Which, that's the whole point
Because-
of doing the trap.
They did the whole, he had Gamora, and Star-Lord was like, I'm going to blow your head off if you don't let her go, and she was, don't do it. Remember what we talked about.
Shoot me,
And-
not him.
Yeah, which they made that so obvious, and they drew it out for so long. It's like, how did you not expect him to use the Reality Stone that he just showed you he had to
Yeah.
stop you?
But, I mean, the effect was funny.
It was. It was.
The bubbles.
And it also showed you that, look, Star-Lord would have done it.
Yeah.
But after a lot of persuading. He wasn't
Yeah.
going to do it originally. Like, even though
He
he
really
promised.
struggled with it, but he tried to do it without making him actually do it.
And that scene where, like, when Drax and
Man,
Mantis are gonna attack.
I thought Drax was dead.
Same thing with Mantis. I thought they were both dead.
Yeah.
Mantis spirals
As
apart.
soon as Mantis started making noises, I was like, okay, Drax will come back because that just shows that they're still alive, but just incapacitated.
He turned him into stone and he fell apart. I'm like, oh, that's a quick way to just kill Drax.
Yeah,
Makes sense because Reality Stone, like, it really should be that OP.
Yeah.
And then Mantis turned into like Ribbon and then was still alive and moving, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, so Drax is probably. I like how the Reality Stone worked. Only that like, it could change how current physics and it would work. But then like as soon as you like deactivate it or use something else, like as soon as he opened the portal to leave, like it would change everything back to how it like was, which I thought was cool. It has like really good powers and abilities, but doesn't make it super broken that all you need is the Reality Stone. You just change reality to whatever you want.
Yeah,
hey, you guys are all stones and you can't turn back.
It seems like it's not really a Reality Stone as much as like an illusion stone.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But I think it's weird
reality.
because you become that, and you have to just keep it like activated.
I think maybe just the reality gem by itself projects a different reality. Like it doesn't actually do anything. Like it's like an illusion.
Maybe
but once the entire glove is like put together, he can actually alter what happens in reality and stuff like that. Which is why he can do what he does then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shot though with Mantis and Drax, that was actually ripped right out of the comics. He didn't do it to those two, but he actually turned somebody into Ribbon and somebody else into like the blocks and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
That's another fun little Easter egg. Yeah.
They
Thanos takes Gamora
Uh-huh.
back to
The ship.
His
ship.
Is it his ship?
Yeah, because they're arguing at the throne, and Gamora's like, "I hate that chair," and she throws soup at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she throws soup at
I
it.
mean, she does.
I thought you'd be hungry.
Dude, my man Thanos.
Dude,
he literally
he's
rolled
so
up with
nice.
the soup.
Yeah, he literally
he
just
was
gives
so
her
caring
soup.
about Gamora.
Yeah, like what? No, Thanos is a good guy.
It's so weird because there's so many parts where he's like, just like, he's clearly like the big bad villain. Like that whole reality bait was actually kind of terrible. Like Gamora killed him, and then he was just faking his own death, and Gamora was just crying over him, and then
Dude,
he just walks.
like,
then he rolls up.
She is bawling, like.
Yeah, which it's weird because I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. But then I'm like, wait, if I had the Reality Stone, I would totally do dumb shit like that and mess with people and be just as bad, and be a terrible human being. And so I can't even like blame the thing. Okay, I'm gonna wait before I talk about Thanos again. It's really hard not to because this is literally just
this
his
is
movie.
a big scene with Thanos.
Okay, let me just say, because they make Thanos, like, he's so believable. Like the thing is, it's so weird because I'm like, dude, if I was a giant pink dude who came from a planet that died in such a dumb way, I could totally be like, I totally understand where he's coming from. It's so weird. I could totally see his progression into this, like, he's not really misunderstood, but he's like, I can totally see his progression becoming this overlord, super bad villain that truly believes that half the universe needs to die. And I don't know, sympathize with him. It's so weird. I'm like, yeah, Thanos, do it. Snap your fingers. You got this. I'm like, do it. Good, you did it. And I was like, nice. I'm sorry. I keep hitting the desk because I don't know. I like that. I like Thanos a lot. And then like he does evil shit, but I can totally see myself doing it too. And then he's able to. I'm not talking about making sacrifices yet. Let's at least get to the making sacrifice part because that fleshes them out even more.
Thanos reveals somebody on the ship.
Oh.
Nebula.
Okay, now this
Nebula is suspended, like reaching out.
Yeah, and at first you're like, oh, she's just like floating there. That's cool.
No.
But the
And then they
camera
go to the
spins
side
and
view.
she's literally ripped apart.
Okay, remember the time where I said that he does evil shit, but I can see myself doing that? What he does in Nebula, I don't think I could do that. That
that's
yelling
like,
was
right.
actually horrifying.
Is
we
pretty
talked about if Nebula was going to die, which she doesn't, it was going to be the goriest part of the movie. But she didn't die, but that was
straight up
still like
tortured.
the most gruesome part of the entire movie.
Oh,
Dude,
they
the
tortured-
screaming in that,
Yeah.
like kids were. There was this like 12-year-old child. The second time I went to rewatch it, and she was like covering her eyes, and I felt bad. I was like, oh my god, like the screaming was loud.
They had tortured a couple because they tortured Doctor Strange, but like
It
the
was
torturing
nowhere
him was
near.
nowhere near as bad as that.
Yeah, because like her body's just so deformed at this point. You can do whatever the hell you want, and he has the space stone, so it just slowly pull parts. What? What was that about? What was that
Make
look?
those dirty look. sucks.
Damn it, Goji. I don't know. It's like Nebula is so tragic. It's so unfortunate. Everything that happens.
Like,
He's also kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, yeah, she tried to sneak onto the ship and killed me. Almost did it. But it's just like, that probably wasn't the best tactic.
I don't know why she wouldn't just, like, I don't know, maybe blow up the ship somehow, like classic Star. Well, actually, is that even worse? I don't know. I just wanted to pick a fight with Thanos. As soon as you, like, get out of there, I nope out, because he's not going to care about Nebula when he has...
Yeah, like, literally everyone else in this entire universe understands how powerful he is. And they're like, let's work together. And she's the only one who's like, nah, son, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's obsessed with, like, proving herself, too.
True.
Compared to Gamora. This is where Thanos forces Gamora to tell him where
The Soul Stone
the Soul Stone is. And she's like, I don't know. And he, like, literally, like, touches Nebula's head and, like, does a...
Audio file.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally like that. I burned it to ash. He'll never find it. I didn't teach you how to lie. That's why you're so bad at it. I was like, oh shit. Thanos has some of my favorite quotes too. I just love everything he says. I never taught you to lie.
Revealed that the Soul Stone was on...
I don't remember the name.
No.
Vormir. So they teleport
Sounds
to
very
this
Norse.
Vormir,
Oh, man,
and
this
they are
part
greeted
had
by a guardian.
It's probably one of the biggest surprises I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was Death.
At first, I thought it was Death, and I was excited.
Like, oh my god, are they really going to do the whole Death thing?
But
Like,
then,
that is really
and
surprising.
it turned out to be Red Skull, and I was like,
Oh my god.
and it's weird because like you were rewatching all the Marvel movies beforehand.
I did
I
watch
totally
every Marvel movie.
bailed on doing that, and so like I completely forgot that Red Skull wasn't dead, but just teleported somewhere.
Yeah,
Well,
same.
it was,
I literally
it was never stated exactly what happened to him.
I've
most
always
people
assumed he was
just
teleported.
Yeah, most people like, oh, he disintegrated from touching the stone.
Yeah, no, I always assumed he was teleported.
A lot of people did assume that he actually teleported somewhere, though.
Yeah, and so like I completely forgot about it. So when he popped up, I was like, oh my god, they finally brought him back.
Dude, high key for like I saw 30
And he's
seconds. I
changed.
totally didn't know who he was until like I was thinking about. I'm like, who is this dude? And then I literally thinking back through all the. But I'm just trying to think back through all the movies, and finally I'm just like, oh, the Nazi.
And he's really changed. He went from the power hungry Red Skull Nazi to this guy who almost seems just like this wise dude who's just like,
Well,
I mean, he acknowledges like I have to guide people to what I pursued, and it sucks.
I've seen people say that it's not Red Skull anymore. It's actually his soul, because what did he eat the entire time?
Yeah, that was kind of thing. He was.
He might just, yeah, it might just be a projection by the Soul Stone. I don't know.
So it's not actually Red Skull, but like
It's still
a former like spirit of Red Skull guarding the stone. Why did it teleport him to the other stone? Like, it could have teleported him anywhere.
Who knows?
Maybe I don't know the stones.
Maybe the
kinda
Soul
connected
Stone needed a guard. Maybe it just like for some reason knew it needed a guardian and was like, hey, this seems like a convenient time.
Maybe the Soul Stone called the Space Stone. Was like, hey, I need a soul.
But also,
Ring him up on his cell.
Yeah, he's like,
But
beam
also-
him up, Scotty, and then he did.
the Red Skull, he makes it sound like he's been there for like centuries, and really since the time of
He was
World
there
War
since
II,
the
it was
40s.
it was like like 50, 60 years, and it makes it sound like he's been there for
No,
centuries.
it was longer than that. Because Captain America, at the end of Captain America, they explained that he was asleep for over 70 years.
Okay, so like 70, 80 years, whatever. But the point
Almost
is,
a decade.
like they make it sound like he's been there for
A lot longer than a
long
decade.
time.
Sorry, totally got my years mixed
Like, and they've already acknowledged that like on some of the other planets, time is different. Like in Thor Ragnarok, and I'm like, I wonder.
Oh, yeah, on
it makes me
Sakaar,
wonder
yeah.
like how long in his time has he really been there? Like,
So,
kind of makes you wonder.
and he explains to Thanos that you need
So
to
good.
get the Soul Stone, you need to sacrifice something that you love.
Immediately,
And
Thanos knows what he has to do.
Gamora's like, well, you're screwed
She
because
starts
you
laughing,
don't love
she's like,
anybody.
yeah.
You don't
And
love
the
anything.
whole time that's going on,
You
everyone
see
in the
a
audience
tear.
is just like, Oh,
Yeah.
Gamora, you're
Yeah.
so wrong.
You're so dense, Gamora. You have no idea. He turns around and he has tears in his eyes. She tries to be
And
like,
this-
"What a pussy!"
this is
chucks
when
off.
I really start having feels for Thanos. It's just
Yeah,
like,
my
oh
man.
shit, he
He legitimately cared about her. Like,
seriously cares.
and a lot of people were like, "Oh, see, he didn't actually care about her. He cared about the stone more than her." But like, I don't think
No.
the stone wouldn't have given itself up
Yeah.
if he just threw her for nothing. Like, he
But that's the
actually
point.
cared
He
about her.
literally he
Like-
loved it. It was the thing he loved most in this entire universe.
Yeah,
Like,
and it was the one thing. So now he has like nothing.
Yeah,
yeah,
like which
and
is
it-
referenced later at the end of the movie too.
The rest of
Like,
the movie, he's like, I've had to give up more than I wanted to for this. I'm not backing off now. I am going to win. You are not stopping me because
So
I gave
we should
up
actually say
I
what
have the
happens.
will.
We should actually say what happens. He throws Gamora off the cliff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Gamora dies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think you, Goji, you predicted that. Which
Yeah,
I
I
thought she'd be fine.
said I think that Gamora is going to die.
I thought she would live.
I think that the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy was too iconic. Other than Gamora, Gamora was just the token female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drax was the comedy relief, Rocket Raccoon was the comedy relief, and Groot was the comedy
Groot is
relief.
Groot.
And Star Lord was the comedy relief.
Yeah.
Gamora was
Also
like the
leader.
only like straight person.
Were they all gay?
No, they were wearing
She's
socks.
one of the few,
Oh yeah.
she's one of the few ones
Damn it, I almost
that
had him.
weren't vaporized that I think might come back.
No. Dude, if Gamora comes back, I am going to flip the
I
table.
wouldn't
Like,
be happy
I
about
kind
that
of
either.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't really want her to.
No, she's
But-
not.
There's a whole theory at the like, you know, at the end when he's in that like orange area talking to like child Gamora, and she's like, "Was it worth it?" He's like, "Yes." There's theories that because that whole area is orange, that he's actually in the Soul Stone, and her soul is still alive in the stone.
No.
And they're like, all the people he vaporized are going to be in the stone. So I can see maybe, but I really don't think or want it to go that way.
I think
Oh.
everybody up until the end of the movie, when we get there, is dead. They're all dead.
Yeah.
Gamora is dead, and if they bring her back, I will honestly be straight up pissed off.
Yeah,
Like
I wouldn't be too happy
it would
with
have,
but like,
she can't come back because that would literally like ruin what that entire scene represented. Like it can't be just like in literally just a couple minutes here with the whole Star-Lord thing.
yeah,
It's gonna completely like
it really would.
no, it
It really would.
he can't be.
To be fair, I mean it's a fair film
Unless-
theory. It's one of those
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the area
Although-
was orange.
Which I mean, there
reddish.
was also like so many. Oh, this is orange, so it's the Soul Stone
To be-
theory.
yeah,
before
yeah.
They have baited us before with what's his face's eyes.
I will say though,
Dude,
The
I was
one
so
thing
pissed that
I-
wasn't where it was.
the one
Yeah,
thing I
yeah,
might
same.
accept is like, because Red Skull was the guardian of the Soul Stone before, and you were talking about him being just the soul.
Yeah.
What if because after this, whether they destroy it or they send it off to somewhere else again, maybe her soul becomes the new guardian of the Soul Stone.
I still would. I want.
Like
to
I could,
I-
could possible things. Don't know. Not necessarily saying that they're the best option, but possibilities.
Well, thinking back to the scene, wasn't it more like reddish? Could it have been like a reality thing, like projection?
it was like a really deep
It looked like
sunset.
It looked like he was in blood.
Yeah, it did.
It was pretty awesome.
I
Yeah,
like
I don't
Gamora. I really like Gamora. She's a really fun character, especially in the Guardian movies. She was kind of the like I said, the straight man here. But
she's also the moral compass of the
yeah,
Guardians.
yeah,
but I want her dead. Like
it is so weird because that death had a lot of weight.
it was.
For Thanos as a
It
character
really did.
and for the plot.
And I feel like the best option is to leave her dead. But I'm just saying, I can see there might be some possibilities that they're going with it.
Out of all the deaths in this movie, hers was the most impactful. And if they
Yeah.
reverse that, it's
Well-
it's going to be the biggest cop out of the franchise.
And that's why, like,
Yeah.
if anything happened, the only one that I might be slightly okay with is if she becomes a guardian. Because she's still dead. She's just the soul there to guide people toward the Soul Stone, you know? She's basically doing what Red Skull was, and it's like, alright.
I think it'd
this is
give
the
more of
only
an
one that I
impact if
might
I
be
literally
able to-
never saw Gamora again.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to get too far into the end of the movie.
I know, it was just an
No,
immediate...
what I want to say. We all know what happens at the end of the movie. So I'm not going to say exactly what happens, but I think that they're going to find the way to reverse what happens at the end of the movie, and they're going to be like, it was only a one-time thing. We did that to save this many people, and it's done. We can't do it again. We can't bring back Gamora. We can't bring back Loki.
Yeah.
It's done. We had to save as many people as we could, and this is how we did it.
Which,
and it's going to upset Star-Lord, and it's going to be a really big scene in the next movie for Star-Lord.
Yeah. While we're on that, can I just throw my theory in on that? Since we're already talking about it. I think, because at the end, when he does his snap,
It's clearly
shows
damaged.
the
Yeah,
glove
it's
is broke.
crippled, yeah.
It's damaged. I think it's going to be, they can use it one more time to bring back everybody that disappeared. But it's going to, like, sacrifice whoever uses it. And I think that might be how we end up killing off Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I also think that the whole it being damaged is a one way to explain for the next movie clearly how, like, you know, there's going to be Captain Marvel and a bunch of way more powerful people rolling up. It's going to explain why he can't just keep snapping and looking at kids and turning them into nothing when he has to fight them again. I think that's going to be one of the main things, like, yeah, it's damaged and he can't do it again. But, you know, honestly, I'm kind of hoping that they don't revert what Thanos did. I hope, like, they beat him.
Total?
No, I hope, okay, they're talking about the phases, right? I like the sacrifice idea. I hope they can only bring back, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Everybody after is coming back.
I know, but I really don't like that.
Yeah,
we'll cut ahead first.
The thing is, I like Thanos so much that I want at least, I want them to beat him.
Yeah.
But I want him to, like, overall die, but like, have his...
More people are dying in the next movie.
No, but I'm talking about, like, his whole kill half the population thing.
Yeah,
because
part of me is like,
it's proven to work in most places. Every planet he goes to, well, not every.
At least
I don't know his history.
According to him, everywhere he's been to has gotten better afterward.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, Gamora didn't really go, no, we had food, you're just lit, dog. They were struggling, and, I mean,
And
I don't
according to
know.
him, they were better off after.
I just want at least Thanos' plan to still go down, and maybe they bring back some of the heroes by sacrificing themselves.
I've had so many thoughts about, like, oh, maybe they can only bring back so many people, but I'm like, how does that really, if you can just wipe out half,
Maybe it's too damaged.
it's really only fair that you can just bring them all back. You know, it's...
I actually think that I think I recall the glove actually, like, falling apart. Like, it actually, like,
No, it's just like, it looks like it's been, like, scorched and kind of smashed.
Yeah,
but my theory is the glove's gone. The glove is gone.
Thanos
because
shit kicked in with Captain Marvel.
Peter Dinklage's character says that he's the one that crafted it, and that he still had the mold for it.
Oh, yeah, you can make it.
Yeah.
So I think the next movie is going to be a quest to collect the Infinity Stones again, but on the hero's side.
Maybe.
And they're going to craft a new glove for Steve Rogers or Iron Man to use.
Maybe.
But high-key, how would Thanos without Infinity Stones even be able to do anything?
Maybe it's a race.
But Thor has the Bifrost. He could get there like that. Yeah.
Does he know where they are?
Yeah, he literally went from the dude with the mold to Earth. He could go just back.
No, the Infinity Stones. I think, like, once the glove is destroyed, because in the comics, once they were destroyed, they kind of, like, reappeared again. Like, in different areas and stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, I mean, even
they're like
some...
the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, like, so... I think it's going to be a quest to get the stones again. Like, it's going to be like a race between the heroes and Thanos to collect all 6 stones, or collect as many of them over the other ones and stuff like that. And eventually they're going to end up defeating Thanos and reversing the snap. Yeah. I don't want to get too far ahead anymore, though. So, next will be Nebula escapes. That's when, like, she's, like, suspended and they're putting her back together, and she, like, ends up going through and killing that guy. And she meets up with the Guardians, and she wants to meet the Guardians on Titan.
Right.
And that's where Stark and Spider-Man...
They have their little crash landing onto the planet.
Yes, this is when they land on Titan. That's where they meet Star-Lord and stuff like that. And, like, they're like, oh, this is where the, where's Gamora? I got a better question. Who's Gamora? And
I'll do you one better.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
It's like,
yeah, I was lost for a second there. Like, I don't remember any of this. Oh, now I remember. So...
that was literally just another comedy skit between all those characters.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
Don't put your eggs in me. It's like, yeah, dog. But I'm pretty sure I didn't even talk about that yet.
For a second there, Audacity, like, had an aneurysm and it froze up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it said not responding again. So I was like, okay.
So, because you're about to talk about how they actually, like, catch Thanos and, like, about to rip his glove off, right?
Yes! Oh my god!
Here's my thing. Yeah, it's kind of like, alright, if Star-Lord hadn't gotten pissed off and, like, started punching Thanos and everything and breaking him out of Mantis' spell and whatnot, you know, they would have been fine. But at the same time, Doctor Strange
Saw one future.
How many fucking, like, 14 million futures? Some of those had to have been Star-Lord not doing that, and they still failed. So,
Yeah.
like, I feel like no matter what, it would have failed.
I know. Well, did Doctor Strange do his all vision thing before or after that?
Before. That was all before Thanos got there.
And even when he gives away the time stone, he's like, "We're in the end game. This is how it had to go down."
Yeah.
So,
like,
they're right now they're on the one path they need to
really,
be on out of 14
Star-Lord
million.
did exactly what he had to do.
I know, but I still hate him for it. Like,
Oh yeah.
because if Doctor Strange wasn't there, we wouldn't know anything like that. So they're literally Spider-Man had the glove off of Thanos.
Yeah.
Literally,
It was literally
cut it
right
by, like,
here.
The fingertips.
Yeah, it was on his fingertips.
Thanos
Had it
barely
off.
got it back
Yeah.
from Spider-Man. Yeah.
And they literally said, "Quill, give us 1 minute. We almost got the glove off."
Yeah.
And he couldn't wait. Like, okay,
It's very annoying, and for a while I was wishing that they did something different to wake him up. But like thinking about it a bit, having Star-Lord be the one to mess it all up, like the emotion you feel during that, is very strong,
and
to the point that
agree.
we're still bitching about it. And
yeah,
it's been
I
like
agree.
a whole
And I
week.
can't say I wouldn't do the same thing that Star-Lord did if I was in that kind of situation. But
I mean, that's also when he finds out she is dead. Indeed.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing that bothers me is they were literally like, you can literally rip him a new asshole if you give us 30 more seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
But,
did-
I mean,
they did
if
kind of
you're
go-
a
like,
blind fury because
below
someone
his-
you love died, are you really going to listen to strangers?
If the fate of the entire universe is at stake, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Quill's kind of
Doesn't care.
of all the characters to do something really dumb like that.
He's
It
very
would be
emotional.
It would be Quill.
That just makes me hate him even more. Like, oh my
I
god.
guess.
But on
Yeah.
that fight, I love when Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are working together, and Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is teleporting.
Magic.
Magic
kick.
More magic again.
Like, and he's just doing all that. I'm like, yes, perfect. I love.
Dude, I love the utility and the support that Doctor Strange can give, along with like all the offense and shit.
And that's
Doctor
really,
Strange is everything. That's
like
why
the
I love him
first
so
time
much.
that you see like Thanos can be beaten.
Yeah,
Because they, like, when they're working together, they're kind of kicking his ass.
yeah.
So
He doesn't know which stone to use when someone's using magic again, magic
Yeah.
kick. Just kidding.
Like, it's not until he separates them that he's able to beat them.
Yeah, and I think it's really smart for the people who directed this to make it so that Thanos had to make a fist. So they did actually have like a chance for most of it. They were just finding different ways to keep his hand open, keep just, messing him up when he's literally just some giant purple dude who's super strong and not some reality bending wizard. Because that was like a really good strategy they had. But apparently they needed to lose that fight. So it's like weird. Why would you need the fight in the first place? I don't know. Of the 14 million, they needed to do it just like that. It's strange. It's awesome, and I love it, but it is strange. Doc, yeah, thank you.
This
Can
is
you
where
imagine him, like, going through and be like, okay, I have to do these teleporting tricks with Spider-Man in order for all this to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's a universe where he doesn't do that, and then they lose in the end for no reason.
this is the point in the theater where Brittany decided she had to pee
Sucks for her.
What? When Doctor Strange fought?
during this battle,
Oh my, that's like the best fight.
which
Really
is also teases the death of Iron Man.
Oh.
The biggest part that she would have been bawling at
when he just gets...
is when she's in the bathroom peeing.
Which is
Thanos.
also the part when, honestly, you realize Iron Man is going to be the key to beating Thanos in the next movie.
So Iron
Yeah.
Man and Thanos are going at it, and he is
Stabbed.
disintegrating like his
Parts
leg
of his
to
nanomachine.
make a sword to stab Thanos.
I thought that was really cool.
But Thanos breaks it off and returns it and stabs
Here,
Iron
have this
Man.
back.
And holy shit, they're killing Iron Man off. But Doctor
No.
Strange here does the exact opposite of what he says he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop. If you spare his life, I will give you the time stone. And Thanos is just like,
No tricks.
no tricks? You promise? Come on, dog, don't mess with
Yeah,
me.
Brian Cause the fight before
Like-
that was trippy AF. He literally was like, Zenyatta is here, and he had like 50 arms. I was like, oh no. Even while sober, I was like, did this movie just inject me with like 50 cc's of LSD right now? What is going on? And then he multiplied like 50 times. Even Thanos'
Thanos is
confusion
just
on
like,
his face.
I know exactly which one's you.
I mean, oh my god, dude, that fight was so good. It was literally like DBZ for a while. Like, Doctor Strange before in the first movie literally just had like kind of cool whip. Now he should have just had laser beams and like 50 of himself. It just became Naruto and Dragon Ball.
Imagine this whole time between the movies. He's
I
been
know, but
studying
I'm
more
really glad they added more to his arsenal. I thought it was awesome. Also, the mirror
He was still a
barrier.
beginner in the first.
The red like whips that he uses like to tie Thanos up at the one point is actually like his most powerful move in the comics, but they don't name drop it in the movie. Like a lot of fans were freaking out when they saw that.
Oh,
It's like it's called like the bands of like Corvax or something like that.
because so far it's kind of like meh compared to like his mirror barrier that literally just blocked Thanos' Power Stone, Super Beam, and all the other shit he has.
So he gets the time stone and teleports to Earth,
Oh,
which
Dad
is
is
where we
here.
cut to Wakanda. We get the big Lord of the Rings scene coming up.
Yeah.
So this is where Rogers and Bucky meet back up again.
Which
There's
there
a lot of silence.
is probably the second time that they're teasing Bucky being this
the White Wolf,
The White
which was in the
Wolf,
comics.
which is an actual character.
He was in the comics. It wasn't Bucky though. It was
Wasn't it some like kid who was like
T'Challa's adopted Caucasian brother.
Yeah,
he was
but,
kind of like
people were
Tarzan
talking
or
about
something?
the
He was
end
kind of just
of-
abandoned in like the. Wasn't he just like abandoned in the jungle or something?
I don't know too. I don't know too much about the Black Panther comics, but I do know that it was his adopted brother.
But that does, like, that one being that obvious makes me kind of change
I'll be
my
right back. I'm gonna
theory
grab my phone
about
charger.
Who's gonna replace?
who's going to become the new Cap. So now, I'm obviously thinking Sam is going to become the new Cap and Bucky's going to become this White Wolf.
I mean, I really want a metal vibranium arm with a metal shield, but like if they make him I really don't know anything about the White Wolf.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't even know he was a thing.
So
But-
like,
I don't think that Bucky is going to actually become the White Wolf
you
character
think they just
from
call
the
him
comics.
that?
I think that's just a name drop.
Like an Easter egg type thing.
Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah,
I still think that Bucky's going to become the new Cap.
okay, he does have a lot of the prerequisites to be a cool American frisbee thrower. I don't know, on steroids.
I just imagine the whole, you know how it just like, raise our defenses, get this man a shield. I just imagine him being like, get this man an arm.
yeah. Before that,
I'm surprised that those like the gauntlets didn't
yeah.
smack together to make a shield. Like so many people were
Yeah,
like,
that'd be like such an awkward shield.
well, no, he wouldn't hold it like this. Like they'd like click
Yeah, but
together
they're
and be a bigger shield, like
Attached
similar
his
to the,
arms. I don't know. I just
like they would look like his old
Shield.
old school
it's
shield.
I don't know. He kind of just had
'Cause
like
they said-
Wakandan shield gauntlets,
he
and it was
said,
pretty
"Get
alright.
this
yeah,
man
they're not really
a
even
shield."
shields.
He said, "Get
Yeah,
this
yeah,
man
they're-
a shield." So I thought it would smack together into a shield, or he could take it apart and use them as gauntlets.
Yeah, but then he gave Cap one, and he's like, I want another one of them. He's like, okay. And so he's like, get this man 2 shields.
Yeah, they're definitely not really like shields. They're more just gauntlets.
Yeah.
So this is where they start the whole process on taking the stone out of Vision's head,
The last one.
and Thanos' army is rolling up around this big shield, and people were like talking about how, did they forget the rhinos? Did they forget the rhinos?
Yeah, there was a scene where there were
yeah.
rhino tanks, dude, and they had like, it was literally like the most.
Well, if you notice, the tribe that trains those rhinos weren't in the army because not every tribe joined them.
Why did they not roll up? I thought they were like super
I
loyal.
don't know. Probably
Weird.
because, the guy in charge of them sorta joined forces with Killmonger.
I mean, a lot, but didn't they like
And literally,
resolve it all that?
basically-
I don't remember.
Well, sure, they kind of resolved it, but they also still rebelled against,
Would they arrest the rhinos though? Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting that they didn't use, because those rhinos were pretty
I'm
lit.
sure there's
There-
just,
there was
like, some-
literally
some-
like, let's take this giant African beast and put lasers on it. That's literally what happened in the movie, and it's like, oh
See,
shit.
I think.
Yeah.
So Shuri's working on taking that out, and the aliens are starting to roll up. So they get the whole army out, and we see White Ape Guy and T'Challa like talking and stuff like that, and they do the whole Wakanda forever, Wakanda forever. And
arms crossed. Yeah, they got the whole.
that's when we see the Hulkbuster show up.
Yeah, and it's just
And
Bruce.
it's totally the Hulk, like we predicted, only not.
Yeah.
Man,
And he is so
Now-
like derpy with it.
yeah, it's pretty
He's
funny.
like, I could use this, or not.
Yeah,
or
he trips.
not.
The look on that one woman's face.
When he trips, and they're just like, seriously.
What is her name? 'Cause she's like, do they ever explain why she's so strong? I remember in like Black Panther, didn't
She's
she
just
like
like-
lift
yeah, I
a
think she's
car?
just
She's
like-
the head of the
Yeah,
Royal
like-
Guard, so like she's that for a reason.
Okay, but what makes her so strong? What steroids? Captain America took
Why are you
She's
so
not super
Okay,
strong.
look, I can't lift a car.
She's not super strong. She's just a really, really good fighter.
I could have sworn I remember her doing something that was like, holy shit, she can bench, but maybe I totally got my facts mixed up or something. Maybe I told her something weird. But yeah, I know she's like a really good fighter.
Yeah, like
Just-
that's really it.
I could have sworn she lifted something. I was like, holy shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm
They baited the shit out of Hulk in the Hulkbuster, though. There's a Funko Pop figure of the Hulk breaking out of the Hulkbuster.
Well,
Maybe Infinity War
he's
Part 2?
the end of the movie. He's technically still in the Hulkbuster.
Where is Thanos? Did he go back to Titan?
I don't know because it doesn't look like Titan.
It doesn't look like Titan at all. Yeah, it looks like all lush and green and cool.
Unless maybe
I don't know why
he
he'd
went
go
back
anywhere.
to Gamora's planet.
Oh, he could have
Maybe.
totally. Yeah, that sounds like a
But I have no
good
idea.
candidate.
I skipped over an important part of the movie.
Oh yeah, we haven't
Which
given all of what happened.
Thor, Rocket, and Groot went to the planet with the dying
Oh, yeah,
stars.
that's
Bro,
Stormbreaker.
Thor has been getting a lot of love lately, and I love it, dude. Thor is
They've
the
been
man
making him
now.
more and more OP with each movie.
Yeah, like he can now control his lightning better on his own, and now he has the Bifrost, which is he can go anywhere whenever he feels like
So,
it.
so they show up to this like broken down planet. This is earlier in the movie, by the way. We skipped ahead a good bit, and they meet a midget,
Peter Dinklage,
But
who's
not a
like
midget.
10 feet tall.
and
He's taller than Thanos.
he's like all pissed off at Thor because Thor was supposed to protect them. Like Asgard was supposed to protect us from.
He's like, dude,
Thanos. He's
we're
like,
all dead.
Asgard, Asgard's dead.
my
and-
little sister rolled up and she broke my favorite toy, so I blew up Asgard.
Oh, yeah, that
All
was
the rest of us died except for me. So, give us a break.
Yeah. And then Peter was like, oh,
Even
great.
though, when does Thanos first be like, I'll have to do this myself, and has the gauntlet?
Yeah.
That's
like,
at the end. That's at the end of Guardians 2, I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
which I'm pretty sure happens before Ragnarok. So really, they bailed out on protecting them well before that. But you know,
Do you think
Peter don't need to know that timeline.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm not even actually. I probably shouldn't even go into timelines because I really don't know how all this happened. But when did Loki like take the place of Odin? When did Odin leave? I know in Thor Ragnarok, Loki.
Oh,
was,
in between Thor 2 and Ragnarok.
I'm not even gonna ask where that takes place in Guardians of the Galaxy because
Or at the end of Thor 2, he takes place of
Yeah.
at the end of Thor 2, he takes place of Odin,
Okay.
which is the second movie in the Phase 2,
I think so.
second or third.
Because I know if Peter Dinklage is like, hey Odin, we need some help up here. This giant pink dude is kicking our ass. I know if it was Loki acting like Odin, he'd be like, don't go. Well, I'm gonna go back to watching my little play that I made for myself. So I don't know, but I don't know that whole timeline to make any assumptions. Hammer forging.
Yeah,
Well,
he
actually,
can't forge it because Thanos turned his fists into rock.
Or something. He's like, I will have your hand. So maybe he cut them off and then like replaced it with
it
Duang
honestly looks like he just dipped his hands
in
into the
metal.
molten metal.
Yeah.
So they were just case closed like that
that is
forever.
unfortunate.
Okay, that makes sense.
At least that's what it kind of looked like.
So it's up to
I think
Thor,
that's probably
Rocket, and Groot, who's
Do the rest
too
of it.
busy playing his video game to get the materials.
Motherfucker.
And they end up, going through all the process, getting the materials that they need, which includes like
They had to move it, and so in order to get enough speed, Thor was like, the pod on its own won't go fast enough, so I'll just swing it around in circles a bunch, get that centrifugal force. So yeah, they do that, and they get it moving, and they're like, oh, it's coming back online, and then the door cluts, and damn it. What? Damn it. the door's malfunctioning, so Thor will have to be Swole Boy and just open it.
Thor's like, I'll do it myself. I'll hold it open. And he's like,
That'll kill you.
not if
it
I
kills me.
not if I don't die, or
That's
not
what
only
killing
if,
you
only
means.
if I die.
Yeah.
That's what killing you means.
Also, like, the trailer makes it
like that moment is like some super epic moment. It's really like, all right, yeah, he does that. It's cool.
Yeah, he like literally like.
But it's not like quite as epic of a moment as like it really seems in the trailer.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's not like.
I think
honestly,
no.
in the trailer, I thought it was another torture scene. Like Thanos was torturing him somehow.
I think it
I-
is a really epic moment of the movie. I just think that the rest of the movie has moments that are even more epic that it kind of just...
Yeah.
Like, if it was just a Thor movie and that kind of scene was in there, that would have been like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, because he was just taking on the full force of a star, and it was pretty lit.
Literally.
Yes. I had quite a bit of fun watching that.
So, the blades for the axe are made.
Right.
And
It has no handle.
they don't know where the handle is.
Where's the handle? Where's the handle?
Tree, help me find the handle!
Yeah.
And instead of getting up and helping him find the handle, for some reason, Groot's like...
He's a moody teenager. Like, I'm not gonna go looking around here. Just have my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he like goes, takes his arm and like weaves it around and makes the handle and cuts his own arm off to make the
I
handle.
thought that was really
Now, Groot dies in the end.
cool.
Does Stormbreaker become the new Groot?
Well, I think
once it was off of him. Wait a minute.
Technically, with the way Groot works, as long as a single piece of him is alive, he can regenerate from that.
That'd be so weird. Slowly it just becomes larger. It grows a face and Thor's like, what?
I don't think they will. They'll probably,
know they
they'll probably
won't.
play it off as like it's separated. It's not part of him, even though
Yeah.
technically. But
I think maybe once it becomes.
I am Axe.
Yeah, I am Axe. That'd be awesome.
or maybe
The hammer becomes sentient, but it's like not really
or is
Groot.
it maybe because the main body of Groot was still had his like soul sentience?
It just got rid of that.
It's just wooden handle.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's probably what they'll go with. But at the same time, it would be great if his axe started growing legs and arms.
It starts
dancing
itself.
around.
And now, does the Stormbreaker have the whole only Thor is worthy enough to lift
No.
this?
No,
Because
we
Odin...
were talking about that.
That is a spell that Odin put on
Yeah, I
in
know.
the first Thor movie.
So, anybody can pick up Stormbreaker.
Technically.
If they're strong enough, but it's still isn't it still super heavy just because it's like the inside of a star?
I think so.
Because Groot benched it pretty okay. And then that's when I came to you and I was like, is Groot worthy? Because like I totally forgot about the whole spell thing. I'm like Groot didn't give a fuck. It was like, and then he just lifted it right up and then cut his arm off. I'm like, yeah, Groot was worthy. And you're like, nah, it was a spell. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, even though he was literally just playing video games seconds earlier. How worthy is that?
That would be really cool, just to, like, see them passing around his axe, just chopping everyone to bits.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's have Tat.
Hey, Thor, let me get a shot at that.
Yeah. So maybe Hulk could probably
Like,
wield
Thor
it.
throws it through a bunch of people, one of the other Avengers catches it,
Throws
it
it
through a bunch of
back.
other people, a different Avenger catches it, throws it back to, like...
Yeah, they play. Captain America would be pretty good at that, just based off his Frisbee career for all of World War II.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that. But I mean, they probably wouldn't be able to conjure the lightning since it's like a good vessel for him.
yeah.
It'd literally just be an axe. That's pretty dope and very heavy. So yeah, axe. Thor hammered down as soon as he came back using the Bifrost that axe can now use, which is very
Very
practical. Very practical. Could help out a lot once they go, yeah, we're gonna take down Thanos. Where's his lair at? Oh, it's right here? Okay, Bifrost all of us up.
Cutting back to Wakanda now.
Yeah,
Right,
back
Where
to
we
Wakanda.
were. That's when the whole battle, Thor, Rocket, and Groot show up now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, wait, did he get his axe yet?
Yeah.
Throughout the battle, Midnight, Obsidian, and Glaive are killed.
I forget, how does Glaive... Oh, right, Glaive actually gets
Stabbed
stabbed.
in the back by Vision.
Right.
Yeah, Vision gets revenge for all the
Midnight,
stabbing.
which I'm guessing is the female,
Yeah, got chucked
got
into
thrown into their little spinner
their giant
death machines.
Beyblades.
And Black Widow's just like, that's disgusting. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Black Widow, you've probably done worse to people.
And
Yeah.
this is also the point where Vision's like convincing Wanda, like, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta
Like,
do it.
look, Thanos is here.
Thanos
Kill
is
me.
Rick Harrison has literally walked into his pawn shop, aka Earth.
And
Like, you
she-
need to do it now.
She does it, she takes her little
And this,
red
I
wavy
love
magic
this.
and kills Vision.
I love this because Thanos is like, I know what you're feeling. That's a lot of pain to kill your own loved one. I just did it.
Now let me bring it back.
But-
let me
And he
take it back.
takes
a
the
notch.
time stone, rewind,
Yeah.
brings Vision back, and Wanda like screams, and he literally just crunches the front of Vision's head.
Yeah. Okay, by the way, can we just talk about how literally everyone's like, for like that whole thing where Vision's being attacked, they're all freaking out, someone get to Vision, someone get to Vision, and Thor is literally just like taking on grunts. Thor could have been there like that. Thor literally could have just like light-linked his ass over there and given backup for, what was it, Corvus Glaive, who was like, I'm gonna stab you again, Vision, and Vision's like, no, don't stab me, and then he gets stabbed, and the only one who rolled up was Captain America, and then Thor actually rolled up near the end of Thanos' walk into the portal.
And that's when he starts really using the gauntlet. Like he's using it a lot more once he has all the stones.
Yeah, he's my favorite part was literally the beginning when Hulkbuster's like, I'm gonna get you, and he's like, yeah, guess what, Hulkbuster, you take up no space, you're just gonna go right through me, have fun being in this rock. Now you're in the rock now. And the Hulkbuster's like, oh, okay, I'm in the rock now. I thought that was a really cool thing. They just would just be like, nope, hey kid, fuck off.
Yeah.
We all called Vision was gonna die.
I mean, yeah.
I was.
He died twice.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die. He died. I'm like, all right, cool, got another one right.
Cool.
And then he bring him back. And I'm like, oh, I guess this is how they'll bring him back. So maybe he'll end this movie alive. Not quite exactly how fast. And then dead again. I'm like, oh no, okay, still dead.
He got his forehead
Still
crunched in
dead.
Yeah, they
hard.
literally crunched inside his forehead.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how strong it'd have to be to hold up another dude by like the neck? Use 3 of your fingers to break their skull in. Like that. Oh my god! I was like, oh okay, see you later, Vision. Literally like the most pathetic way to die. Have some man.
His head?
He's dead.
He's dead.
Literally 3 fingers to kill a robot that's pretty durable. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what's the hardest blow Vision has taken, but I mean he is a superhero who can lift Mjolnir. Even when it did have the thing or whatever.
Thanos has all 6 stones now.
And then an axe comes.
Things are about to go down, and then the axe comes.
And I love that part. I love it. The whole like, next time, aim for my head.
yeah, exactly. He's so smart.
Or like you should have aimed for my head or whatever he says.
Yeah.
He's hit pretty hard too. Like that
went deep
That
in his
should have
chest.
been a kill shot. Like unless Thanos has like no organs, that should have been a kill shot. And he's like, should have aimed for the head.
In the comics, Thanos does technically have the cybernetic enhancements like Nebula and Gamora, so there could be an effect of that. But also, I mean, what are the odds that maybe when he snapped his fingers, he also healed himself a little bit enough to not die?
Yeah. He does have like all the stones working together, and it seemed like now that he got all of them, they were working as one. Because when the fucking the hammer's coming down at him, he shoots a laser beam out of every single stone. It was definitely coming out of all the stones. They're working together. So maybe the reality, now that the reality and time specifically are working, whatever he deems to be reality stays that way because time makes it so that you don't have to deactivate time to use something else since they're all working together. Maybe. And so he's like, yeah, I'm just going to kill myself real quick.
Yeah. But I mean, even at the end, he's like when he's doing that whole watching the sunset with a smile, like
on a grateful universe.
Yeah.
Oh,
he does look like he's still hurt.
Well,
a bit, yeah.
Before that even happens, he teleports into his little hole, and that's when everybody's like looking around, and we see Bucky go, Cap.
See you later,
Wait,
man.
Before we get into all this devastation, I have one other like thing because he made that comment about like should have aimed for the head. I'm really hoping that in Infinity Wars
he aims for the head.
That's how they kill him.
Oh my god, that'd be brilliant.
Because I'm like, that'd be a perfect foreshadowing moment, man. I kind of hope that's what they do.
I bet they will. I bet he's gonna get an axe in the head. That might not be the full killing blow.
Like it seems kind of too violent for Marvel, but at the same time, you already foreshadowed it. Do it.
Yeah, just make it rated already.
All right.
So
heartbreak moment. Let's
Bucky,
go.
Cap, slowly starts disappearing, and everybody's like, "What is happening?"
Nani.
And then we see what's her name, like Ayo, the Wakandan warrior girl, and she's laying there.
But Panther's like,
he's like,
isn't a place
this is
to
no
die.
place to die. So you're like, oh my god, she's gonna. And no, it's Black Panther. Black Panther dies.
Yeah.
And Groot, I am Groot.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Wanda, Scarlet Witch.
Which, if you notice, she looks happy. When she's disappearing, she looks happy. I'm like almost even a smile.
I'll need to go back and look at it again.
And part of that honestly makes me feel like, even though it is random, I feel like Thanos might have purposely picked her as Mercy because he's like,
I don't think he picked. I think it's
I don't think that's
Look,
his
he mostly
way.
does random, but who's to say he can't just be like, I specifically also want her? Because he's like, look, I killed my loved one, you killed your loved one, I understand your pain, let me give you the mercy of not having to live with that.
I think that because seeing how Thanos has been throughout the whole movie and how emotional he has been and stuff like that, that could be a thing. Yeah. But I don't think I'm going to believe that personally until it's addressed in the next movie.
I don't even know if it would be addressed.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, I feel like there's some intentionalness there.
Well, he has been sticking to the rules that he set for himself.
Yeah. I think he just snapped the fingers and it literally randomly picked half of the people.
Yeah.
That's Falcon.
See you later, man.
I don't even remember seeing him fade away.
He does.
I'm sure he does. He just
think it was super quick. You literally just see like bird wings and they're gone.
Because someone else is like in the woods. I think it's like
Rhodey. It's War Machine is walking, and okay, Falcon fades and then the pans up to War Machine walking, going, guys, what is going on? People are just turning to ashes, and then it.
Like, no one actually sees him disappear, but he's, like, there, you know?
Yeah.
Mantis, Drax, and Quill of the Guardians.
Yeah. They started knocking them off one at a time, and I'm like, wow, I really thought more of the Guardians would survive.
Yeah, where are they going to stop with the Guardians? Oh, none of them? Okay. Except for Raccoon.
I was really surprised that Star-Lord was the one that faded away, because I was sure that there was going to be a plot. I was sure that there was going to be a plot point in the next one where he was going to be pissed if they didn't choose to revive Nebula when they revived people.
Gamora.
Or who did I say? Nebula. Well, Nebula survived. So I mean, he could be into her sister.
She's like all metal at this point.
Hot.
Yeah, dog.
Doctor Strange. You were straight up like, they better not.
Yeah, but like as soon as it was all, Phase 1 pass off to Phase 2. As soon as everyone started being Phase 2, I'm like, yeah, Doctor Strange, you're definitely gone. And then, of course, it's everyone who's like slightly in frame that disappears, because it's like, well, I mean, for like the dramatic ones, Doctor Strange is literally just close up of his face, and you're like, yeah, he's gonna disappear, because he's like, this is the end game now. He's also the only one who's seen what they have to do to stay on that one path out of 14 million. He has to go.
He's like the only one who's just like,
this is the one we have to take.
I
really hope you guys nail it, because you have like a 1 in, probably like, at this point, over 1 million chance.
It was 14 million or something?
It was 14 million, but like so far they were on it, so hopefully they're it's still like literally 1 in 1 million.
And then, so that means like, so everybody's faded and stuff like that, and we're left with Tony Stark, Peter Parker, and Nebula left on Titan.
Seems to have a spider sense. And knows that
and
disintegrating.
Peter Parker doesn't feel so good.
God damn it, that's such a bad
The
meme.
biggest
It's so bad.
the biggest emotional part of the movie.
And like I was saying, this
Spider-Man
is the part that really
dies.
makes me appreciate him as an actor.
This is the scene I was talking
amazing.
about that
Improv.
Tom Holland improv'd the entire thing.
Yeah, that's
This hit hard.
it did.
This scene of this movie that came out 1 week ago already caused like one of the biggest memes of the year.
Like
It's so good.
I honestly,
Literally saw memes of people disintegrating it. I don't feel so good. It's Shrek. I don't feel so good disintegrating.
That donkey. I don't
like
feel so
I
good.
honestly had to put in an effort to not cry.
Oh my god.
Like honestly, he got me that hard.
I've never cried during a Marvel movie ever. This got me close to crying.
Yeah, like
Bernie
I was
cried.
really, like choking on it. I was
Bernie
like,
did cry.
Oh no! Don't do this to me.
That was literally the one thing I'd spoiled was that.
Just
so I literally
seeing
didn't have
him-
that big of a. It was unfortunate.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
avoided
so-
all spoilers.
Oh my god.
Had no idea.
But to be fair, as soon as it was all Phase 2, I'm like, Spider-Man, you're up.
Like as soon as he showed up and he's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel good, so good. I'm like, no.
Oh, dude.
No.
Don't even
I don't
start.
want to go. I don't want to go.
Me.
Like, no, stop it. Don't go. Please don't leave me, Spider-Man.
I literally, like, I threw my arms up like, they're gonna do it, and I sat there so angry the entire time.
Dude, they did a really good job baiting us. They're like, oh, it's Phase 1 to Phase 2. So we're all like, oh, Spider-Man is definitely going to live. There is absolutely zero chance. Oh, he doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
Never
we
mind.
were straight up, like, we didn't even talk about him. Like we were like,
we
Spider-Man?
brushed it off.
Spider-Man? Oh, he's living. Like, move on. Let's go.
We literally were just, in our predictions, we were just like, look, like, we know that they're supposed to be kicking off the next phase of Avengers with Spider-Man, so he's gonna live. No biggie.
Yeah, they're kicking him off the deep end into death.
Like, oh my god, like, that whole scene is like, that is literally going to go down in history as like one of the most iconic scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
It was just so crazy. So the Spider-Man dies. We don't need to keep dragging it on anymore. He dies, disintegrates.
Who else is there?
That's the last one. Peter's the last one to die.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, not.
After
We get a
that
nice
scene.
little end credit scene.
Yes, after the end credits.
Maria Hill, Nick Fury.
Mother.
Yeah.
Mother.
See you later. Of course they did that.
The
Marvel.
ones that are left are
Phase 1.
Tony Stark and Nebula on Titan, so they're stuck on that planet. Bruce Banner, Aoki, Rhodes, Rocket, Rogers, Romanoff, M'Baku, and Thor are left in Wakanda.
And Tony and Nebula are the ones left on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is going to be an interesting duo for the next Infinity Wars. And also I'm wondering how they're going to get back to Earth.
Isn't that
and
one
team up
plane
with the rest
still
of them.
intact that Nebula crashed into Thanos with? She kind of just... It wasn't a terrible crash. She was pretty alright. It came out of nowhere.
Oh,
though.
well, I guess they could take the Milano.
Yeah, there are no guardian... Well, oh yeah, Tony Stark will probably be able to pilot it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm sure
Especially if Quill
Nebula
can.
could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dumb. Yeah, Nebula can drive.
Yeah. But I definitely think their interaction in the next movie will be interesting.
So now that
Kinda
everybody's
scared
dead
for it,
and the people that are left over are still alive, we cut to Thanos doing exactly what he said earlier in the movie he was going to do: kick back and watch the sunrise, knowing that he did his
though.
job.
On a grateful universe, dude.
Are they really that grateful?
Well, they will be once they have resources.
And that is where the most somber end credits
oh my
start.
god.
It's literally just black screen, white letters appearing,
Infinity War.
like the entire credits too. It's like just white lettering, fade away, white lettering,
Yeah.
fade away.
The letters disintegrate.
And just everyone in the theater. Just
Oh
like,
my god,
silence
Infinity War
quiet.
disintegrates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to
Too
rub it
soon,
in.
movie. Too soon.
Too soon. It happened like 5 seconds ago.
Alright.
I'm still happy my man won.
Fun
even though
fact:
it's terrible.
in the comics, after Thanos is defeated and stuff like that, he retires and becomes a farmer.
What? Wow, how the mighty have fallen.
So I had to laugh because like brother, my dad, and some other people that we were watching with, they were all like, "Are you sure that's Captain Marvel's logo? Like, are you sure that's not like Captain America or something?" Like, yeah, I'm sure. It's very obviously.
Why
her
would he
logo.
call Captain America?
Like, it's
Yeah.
obviously her logo. Plus, her movie's coming soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, their logos don't really look anything. I think one person was like, "Isn't that Wonder Woman?" It's like, no, that's
No,
DC. What are you talking about?
to be fair, when my friends told me it was Captain Marvel, I was like, isn't that the kid that becomes super swole?
That's Shazam.
I know.
Well,
Okay.
no, he was called Captain Marvel originally.
Yeah, but you
So,
know,
Good
so
call.
real important, definitely something that we need to do before we end. I think we need to go over and see who had the most guesses on who dies right.
Oh, dude,
Definitely wasn't me.
I don't
actually
even know
forget who all we
exactly.
get.
Yeah, I was about
Oh,
to say I
damn,
don't
we
even
should-
know how we can figure that. I listened to the
We
podcast
should
like
prepare that before.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
there's so many characters to guess on.
I mean, I think it was pretty much unanimous for almost all of them. Like we all
Yeah.
agreed on pretty much all of them except for a couple like Gamora. Like I was the only one that said that she was gonna die.
Which was correct. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
What else is there? What else was controversial? I think I defended Doctor Strange just for personal reasons and just for hope. And he's gone.
Well, to be
the
fair-
only person that I thought would die that didn't die was Wong.
Well, we
yeah,
don't know
that's
of.
'cause
We
he
didn't
just-
see him
Well,
afterwards.
I'm assuming if we didn't see them dissipate, they probably didn't.
Yeah.
And that's just because he noped right the fuck. Like, dude, you probably should have been helping.
The
You're
main
supposed to help
issue.
defend the universe. This is kind of defend the universe situation
Yeah.
here.
The main issue with
Sanctum
our
is unguarded.
predictions.
What? But the Sanctum was guarding that stone, and that stone is gone.
The main issue with our predictions, and it's mainly my fault because I'm the one that even brought it up, was that they're going on to do the next generation of the Marvel Universe. So we were going based off of these people are from Phase 1, so they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Everybody else is gonna live. And
To be fair, I feel like most people did that, and it was like
we
a sick
ignored
bait
that
for
back in Age of Ultron. They told us basically who was going to be left.
it was literally the exact opposite.
Phase
Yeah.
1.
Phase
Phase 1, all
1,
alive.
yeah, all the Phase 1 members are still alive.
That's
None of
hilarious.
them disintegrated at
Though
all.
again,
Not even Tony
to
Stark.
defend that
Oh
whole
my
theory,
God.
we still have the second part.
Yeah, there's gotta
And
be
yes,
sacrifice.
Definitely changed by that.
Which brings me to
Something you mentioned this at the beginning. The two characters that weren't in this movie,
Hands.
Hawkeye, Ant-Man.
Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
So they're prioritizing their family being on home arrest. Really, not much about. I think Hawkeye's gonna be brought into the second movie because his family dissipated. So again, going on the whole idea of avenging his family, and I think the same thing might happen to Ant-Man.
Yo, if that little girl, the daughter.
I think it might. I think it's gonna happen. And
I
because
really don't want that for some reason. That's just so
my
sad.
whole reason for thinking Ant-Man would survive was because there was an Ant-Man movie. But I think the Ant-Man movie is happening either
is.
before or at
It
the
is.
same time.
No, it is at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's been
Oh.
confirmed since.
Dude,
So I think at the end
did
of
you guys see
Ant-Man,
the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer? If that ant that was playing the drums dies...
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think at the end of Ant-Man we're gonna see more people disappearing.
Wait, okay, it's wait, that's a good question. So he says half like the population of the universe does it have to be like human level intelligence, or is it like every animal, every
I
organism?
would imagine
everything.
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 Dude, that's awesome. That's crazy.
A bunch of ants start just
Because
disappearing.
if you just say humanity, well, you also have
aliens and
the
stuff, and
I guess dominant species on the other planets.
you have
but,
like
you
the
also
rock
have-
people.
Yeah,
There's a
it,
whole
it has to
bunch.
be half of all of living creatures.
So,
Trees too.
But yeah, I think we're gonna have some more disappearing, heartbreaking moments at the end of Ant-Man.
okay,
Oh,
we're going to
that's
save
interesting.
predictions for the
Wasp.
next movie until
Yeah.
before the next movie. But, real quick,
Do you want to talk
set photos for the next one have been revealed already.
Is one of them
There,
Thanos?
it shows them all back in their Avengers 1 uniforms, including long-haired Thor and everything.
Man, he grew it up
How's
fast.
it gonna happen?
Time
Yeah.
travel.
What? Oh no.
Or flashbacks,
Or flashbacks. But there's also a time stone.
if they
Maybe
have it.
if Thanos.
This would be a really good opportunity to kick off X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU.
Maybe. How is this gonna affect the TV series? Because the TV series are in the
I
same
don't
universe.
follow the TV series. I have no
I had-
clue.
When I realized they weren't gonna be brought into the movies,
I was so
kinda
disappointed to hear
stopped.
that.
You mean like Agents of Shield? Or?
Agents of Shield,
Daredevil,
Jessica
Luke Cage,
Jones,
yeah.
Oh, the
Luke Cage,
Defenders?
Nova,
Yeah.
Defend.
They're all in the
part of the
MCU.
same universe.
Oh god.
Like they weren't brought into the movies.
We
which
need
I
a
was
blind
disappointed.
dude.
But like, I was wondering,
Oh yeah, dog.
are some of the people gonna like disappear in the TV series?
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Like, can you imagine the Defenders and a couple of like one or two of them just
Oh god.
gone?
They better not take my boy the lawyer, man. Or
I
Luke
might have
Cage.
to. I might have to
I-
check in now.
I have one last note that I want to point out to you guys. Thanos killed the Collector and blew up that whole area, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What up?
Howard the Duck is dead.
Yeah, probably.
Howard the what?
Well,
Howard
that's
the
not
Duck.
necessarily true. Maybe Howard the Duck left.
Who?
Howard the Duck?
So at the end of the first Guardians, after the Power Stone like blew up his.
You
whole
don't know who
collector's
Howard the
museum,
Duck is?
The end credit scene is Howard the Duck having a drink with the Collector, but he's not.
D-
He's not locked up anymore,
Neptune.
so he could have left.
Do you not know who Howard the Duck is?
Yo, Howard the Duck is a player.
I have to show you the trailer for the Howard the Duck movie.
Yo, he's a straight up player.
Okay, Howard the Duck is a Marvel comic that is there's a planet full of anthropomorphized ducks, and they talk and wear clothes, and it's the stupidest thing
Hold
ever.
on, I need my phone.
Like straight up.
They
Give me and
the very first Marvel movie was the Howard the Duck movie.
Yo,
I think
he's
I've
straight
heard
up-
that though. I've heard. Okay, now
It,
I've heard
it
of this
is
stuff.
the worst
What's
thing
going on?
ever. He falls in love with this human chick, and there's like this scene where he's sleeping, and the human chick is going through his stuff and takes out his wallet and finds a little tiny duck condom.
Yeah, give me a second. Give me like answer. Okay, but
But
other
he's
than
not
Howard
necessarily
the
dead,
Duck,
'cause he could have left.
Yeah, he was part of he was part of the collection, wasn't he?
Yeah, but after you get broken out of that cage, are you really gonna be like, yeah, dog, keep me in your collection. I'll just stay here. I would have bailed. You know?
Oh my
but
god.
I mean, then again, he could still be dead.
Okay, other than Howard the Duck, I thought you were gonna talk about Captain Marvel and not this fucking duck. What is? It's all just Donald Duck. Hold on.
But you know what else
I'm
there
looking at
was?
IMDb. I'm looking at
So
what?
there was.
What is this? It looks like
there's
the
a-
Koopa from that one stupid movie you watched.
Super
The Mario
Mario?
movie. Yes. It looks like it.
There's a
Goji.
scene where Howard the Duck is literally flying through his apartment building, and there's a female duck in the bathtub, duck tits, just nipples and all.
Oh.
It is the worst thing ever, but it is like so funny.
Oh my God.
You know what else there was?
What?
So Adam Warlock. I don't know how much you know about him.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah,
of
yeah,
him.
well,
He's
man.
like this ancient being who was in a cocoon in the comics. That cocoon is teased in the collector's collection. Some say it was broken open. I don't really know. I don't remember.
The directors of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies have said that they're holding Adam Warlock until Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But that could also just be a lie to cover up him appearing in the next movie because
I
they've
really
lied
hope
about
it
everything
does.
else so far.
Because he was pretty big in the first comic, right?
Yeah, he literally was like the one that fixed everything.
Yeah. Adam Warlock. I want some
Soggy.
Celestials. I want Adam Warlock. That's what I want.
I mean, if it really was broken open and he's already freed from his cocoon, then no biggie, he could pop up anytime. But if he wasn't, I mean, what happened to him?
Do we want to talk anything about Captain Marvel? Because I really don't know anything about her other than that she's just Marvel's superhero girl.
I know the next movie happens in the 90s.
Yeah,
So it's
it's a
before all
prequel,
this?
and Nick Fury's
Really?
gonna have
Okay,
two eyes
good.
again.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh?
Nick Fury's gonna have two eyes again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
that's the
I
only
can
thing
see.
I know.
So, I mean...
And I also heard it has to it's adapting the Skrull invasion story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was wondering if they would ever do the Skrulls.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have no idea.
It was the Skrulls are like an alien race that can like mimic.
They can, like,
human.
transform
like-
into people.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like The Thing, but aliens?
Yeah. Not the Thing from Marvel, the scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of just
Be
like,
Adam, like-
except they look like the aliens themselves look kind of like Green Goblin. They have Thanos' like weird chin beard.
Nice.
So, but it's and I know that there's a super Skrull that can like literally like adapt to other characters' powers. Like he can like grow the Thing's arm, like the big rock
Oh.
arm, and like punch people with it, and light his other arm on fire, and stretch his arms. And
How is his mimicking work? Does he have to see them? Does he have to know about the power? Does he just do it?
I don't know exactly. I'd
know
assume
much
that he
about
has to like do something before he can use their powers. but-
Yeah. Because like I was literally just trying to think of like who could take on Cap. I really hope that for the next movie, Captain Marvel doesn't just like carry the team. I really hope that other people.
I hope. Yeah.
I hope they nerf her a bit, just so that they.
I hope that they don't use her as just like
A plot device to beat Thanos.
here's the way Thanos is gonna die. Like I hope that there's actually like a whole.
And I also hope that Hulk could stop being a fucking bitch.
All right, we are currently at 2 hours and 35 minutes. I have a lot of editing to do, guys.
You know.
So-
I am sorry.
I have a lot of like table knocking to get rid of. So
Dude, I'm sorry I was hyped for this movie. You did it for the predictions. I didn't think I liked this movie this much. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't think it'd be like my #1 movie right now, because it's like I don't really have that much to bitch about, and it was also good on almost every level that it needed to be for a dumb comic book movie. Even in ways that it didn't need to be good at, like villain. It did not really need to have Thanos be like a compelling villain, but they just like, let's just do that. Let's just make this movie great just out of nowhere. I don't know.
I mean, not really out of nowhere.
To be fair,
Literally been in the planning for 10
yeah,
years.
but the Thanos of the comic is like just I want to give death the good suck. This Thanos, I want the universe to stop suffering, but so I'm gonna make myself suffer for the universe, and look and gaze upon, a better tomorrow, which is awesome.
Not only does he mourn having to kill Gamora, he also mourns the death of his Black Order.
Yeah,
Like, he's
his comrades
upset
are
that
dead.
they're all dead.
Yeah.
Like, he cared about his comrades, which I didn't think... I thought he would just be like, they're just doing what I need them, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
And,
this
like-
day has carried a heavy toll when he learned that his best Black Order dude was sucked into space.
he like even cares for the people that he's fighting, like to an extent, like the whole "I respect you, Tony Stark," and
what's her face, Star-Lord too.
Yeah. I like you, but like the whole thing with Tony Stark is like, I respect you, and this, and I hope they remember you and stuff like that. Like, it's dude, Thanos was such a good character, like easily like one of the best MCU characters ever. Not even just villains, like
definitely, yeah.
All right, I am cutting it off now. I need to edit this down.
Please do before I go back and talk about Thanos.
I'm stating like this episode is currently at 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Goji, I don't want to go.
No, shut up. Shut up. All right,
Can we
so
just end the podcast?
yeah, okay.
That sounds awesome.
So we're gonna end the podcast on the snap. So goodbye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Just a Bunch of Nerds. You can find us on Facebook by searching at Just a Bunch of Nerds Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Bunch of Nerds. Come back next time and level up.